A little bit of Velvet Underground this morning. It is the Bennington Show. Today is the night for Comedy 101. We're all excited to head out. But again, Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. Now, Comedy 101 is tonight. The tickets went like that.
They were gone.
They were just gone. They vanished. But I have to tell you, there is going to be a pair of tickets that were given out today. The Interrobang kind of put a pair away for today, and I didn't even know this until moments ago before the show.
Smart move. So
be next to your phones. We'll give out one pair of tickets for tonight's Comedy 101. Larry Yonker says, nice plug for Bennington Show, Comedy 101 at the stand, even if it was an accident. I don't know what happened there today.
Accidental plug?
Opes back to mornings. He does afternoons. He does mornings. This is the hardest working man in radio.
He's all over the place.
Yeah. I stopped in and did a little sketch comedy, acting like I was Rudy, and it was my job to take the trash out at night. You know, I practice with the team and I go to school, but later I sleep in a small room next to the gardener. Eric says BL did a nude Facebook live this morning. No joke. That is no joke, my friend. That's as far away from humor as you could get.
Wow. Although I'm not terribly surprised. It seems like that's in her wheelhouse.
It is. The third tragedy in Orlando last night as a little kid, 2-year-old boy with his family, I believe watching the fireworks show at the Grand Floridian in about 6 inches of water, and an alligator comes out of that lagoon, grabs the kid, takes off. Still, I believe, haven't found the body. Now, the Grand Floridian is the most upscale kind of hotel that Disney has. I've never heard of an alligator attack in Disney, but, alligators don't know that they're in Disney. They're just being alligators.
I could not believe how horrifying that story is. And having, just grown up in Florida and always hearing stories about why you shouldn't get too close. This is exactly like where they were is where you are meant to be. There's beach chairs out there. Right. I know from going to this place when I was a kid, I knew exactly where it was. There's like some beach chairs out by the lagoon. Yeah. It's like a little sandy beach. It's not for swimming, but obviously everyone's standing at the water's edge there.
Particularly at firework time, because they do a big fireworks show every single night, and people everywhere in the park or at different places, and when I say the park, I mean all the hotels, the campground, you can see it from most places. So this is something that's done constantly. Gator comes up out of that water and grabs a kid. Now, this is a way to go back and say to people about why did they shoot the gorilla. A wild animal is a wild animal. It has no idea. When you start to try to put human emotions on it, if you don't work for Pixar, right, you're being fucking ridiculous. I think we've watched so many cartoons that we think we know that animals think like us, and they don't. They think like animals.
Well, it's also the reason that you couldn't take the chance.
Yeah.
Because this is people, like, they didn't have an opportunity to stop this. But if they did, they would have, because...
Well, they dove into the water, they grabbed that gator, and people do not realize that when a gator is on point, they're fast, they're strong, I don't know how you're even supposed to get a grip on, like a grip on a 4 to 7 foot alligator, but this is a fucking horror story. And Orlando just bashed with bad news after bad news after bad news this year. Within a week, they've had 3 national tragedies.
Yeah, that are national news, more horror than anyone could imagine in the same area. It's so bizarre. I can't imagine those parents.
You can't. Don't even allow yourself to imagine.
But what that probably means in your mind as being some sort of almost like animal instinct that you have. It doesn't even seem like something that would happen in this century, yet it like taps into an instinct that you have where you're like, the young aren't safe and a predator comes in. It's so scary.
Yeah, you're right. It's like the kind of stuff that you would think that people who lived in a jungle society would have to deal with. But those alligators, they've been around forever, on a evolutionary type thing. And you hear about this in Florida. There's attacks every once in a while. There's a dog attack. Sometimes, golfers have to put up with it because they got gators in those ponds. I remember in the early 80s, they were saying, this is it. Alligators are going extinct. So they stopped any kind of hunting. And now, within that 30 years, now they beg people to hunt. They're like, please, hunt alligators. There's too many of them. There's just a ton of alligators down there. But this is just a horrible, horrible story. Hard Rock Johnny wanted us to give this a plug.
Yes, he did.
It's Stand Up for Hunger. That's happening Monday, June 20th, 7 o'clock at Gotham Comedy Club. Pete Dominic is hosting it. Jackie Martling and Gilbert Godfrey are going to be there. That's a big show.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Gotham is, it's not only one of the big elite comedy clubs, but they also do that show on Access TV. I've seen Jeffrey Gurian set 4 applause breaks in 8 minutes.
Really?
Look at it. Is that O'Neill? Turn around quick and see that O'Neill.
Oh, man, there he is.
There he is.
There he goes. People are buzzing about Ed O'Neill out there.
Yeah, everybody is everybody is... Jeffrey's set is up on the site, too, if you want to go see it.
I do want to see it.
Yeah. You'll see 4 applause breaks. To me, the favorite part of it is how long it took him to put the microphone stand away. He just walked it over, put it behind a curtain or something. It was a very funny thing. I never saw anyone do that before. But Stand Up for Hunger, Pete Dominic, and that's Johnny's new radio girlfriend. I think he's listening to Pete Dominic instead of Opie in the morning. I think he's starting to cheat on Opie.
Really?
Yeah. I'll just say this, mark it in your calendar. Pete Dominic's going to get himself some breakfast omelets before you know it.
That's how you know where his affections are.
I just saw Pete. Every time I see Pete in the hallway, he's always deep in talk with someone and then reaches his arm out.
Yeah.
Craig in Michigan. What's up, Craig?
Hey, Craig.
Hey, Ronnie, how's it going?
Hey, man.
So listen, I've been watching the news, and I haven't seen if they've reported if the alligator was gay and was trying to lash out.
Craig, I understand that you wanted me to do a topical joke, but I want you to understand something. You're a bad person, and Jesus himself is going to punch you in the face, ears, and belly for such a terrible joke.
I take that as a compliment from you.
He'll get you.
No.
Jesus will get you for that.
No.
I'll be looking.
Negatory, my friend. There's not any humor in this situation whatsoever, particularly to anyone who has a kid and you're just like, oh, fuck. Now I got to look out for something else I never even thought of before. Oh.
Yeah, think of all the things that a parent goes through their mind on a daily basis of horrors that could happen to your kid. It's
Can I tell you something?
Not really on your list.
You wonder why I'm always making Chris Stanley text me when he gets home. This is why.
That's exactly why.
I worry.
Every night.
Are you home yet, Chris? You're not answering your texts, all right.
I was on the subway. Sorry, Ron.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to lose phone privileges if this keeps up.
And you do know to text anytime you're near a body of water, since he doesn't swim. It makes
You don't
me
swim
nervous.
at all.
No, there's no swimming ability here whatsoever.
Find that hard to believe.
I think you'd like it.
I don't know.
It's a really fun activity, Chris.
Is it?
In the summer, it's terrible in the winter, though. You don't want to swim during the winter, despite what the Polar Bear Club says. As a matter of fact, I would join ISIS before the Polar Bear Club.
Oh, I could.
I have hate for them.
I could never and would never.
The polar bear clubs, they're cocky. Like they're throwing their in your face.
Oh, here's a little spy report. Seth Meyers banned Donald Trump from appearing on his show last night because Meyers said Trump had reached a new low by pulling the press credentials of the Washington Post over a headline. Seth Meyers, normally when you got a late night show, you want Trump because you're going to get a bump. You get the Trump bump, as it's known. But Seth, out of all the things that Donald's done, it's pulling the credentials of the Washington Post. Yeah. Seth, you got to get that Trump bump. And then you could say to him, dude, why are you pulling the credentials? That's low.
Yeah, grill him on it.
And then everybody turns around and says, Seth Meyers should be a journalist. He should be like Anderson Cooper fighting with that lady down. Did you see him fighting with that lady down in Florida? I think I'm going to guess and make up a title. I think she's the Attorney General of everything important in Florida. But she was like saying that, we're doing everything we can do to help, blah, blah, blah. And then he brought up to her, and I hate when people say a lot of people are saying this instead of I'm saying this.
I'm saying this to you right now to your face.
You fighting against, gay marriage in Florida so hard. Don't you find it ironic that now you're contacting the spouses of people who wouldn't have been contacted had you won?
Right.
All that kind of shit. It was like one of those moments where people either tweet it inappropriate or best, journalist ever.
I love, there's kind of a moment where he's just like, do you think in, all honesty, you could consider yourself an ally to the gay community? And she just like, yes. It was just like, I do. I know I'm about to be attacked right now.
Our friend Shrekalov just said, this is my favorite thing ever. A Gurian retweet of a Gurian post of a Gurian story. And that's Jeffrey Gurian with John Lovitz at Gotham Comedy Live. And Gurian was very happy that Lovitz said, my old friend.
I know. He loves that kind of stuff.
He would rather have that than anything.
You can see the way he beams when someone says his name, gives him the respect he deserves. And then Lovitz said, we all used to hang out at the same restaurant. Now, no one hangs out at a restaurant. You might hang out with a bar that has food, but that does not make it a restaurant. That's called loitering at a restaurant.
It is a really good... Yes. People are like, come on. You still fucking nursing that cappuccino? We've got to flip. But when does a restaurant become a bar? Because I'll say this, even if you look at places like Chili's, right? I think it looks hideous that you just go to Chili's, order margaritas at 3:00 while everybody else is eating. It's somewhat creepy.
Yeah, a bar-restaurant combo. Mm-hmm. It's a very strange dance to figure out which one it's more of.
Right.
And you can see that some restaurants are confused because they want to have the bar culture, but then they get frustrated because you're trying to do dinner service and somebody is drunk. And that's not really
Someone's
ideal.
drunk and maybe they've got a half-eaten plate of nachos. Right. But they're not there to eat, they're there to drink. And we were talking yesterday off the air about that everyone says that weed isn't bad for you, and I obviously think it should be legal, but there are plenty of people now who they smoke weed and they only talk about weed and it's just weed. But it is the same is true for drinking. There's no worse thing than when you bring up we should go have a drink at a time that other people think is far too early in the day. When they're doing it, it's 11 a.m., dude. And you're like, still,
yeah.
Why don't you have a coffee? Let's go out and have a drink. When that doesn't land perfectly, it's an awkward moment, even for the drinker.
Yeah, I think, yes, especially for the drinker, I think, because...
Especially for the drinker. You can see what's up.
Because I had this recently where it was a friend and I hadn't seen them in a long time, and we're like, we should get together. And I was like, let's get together and get a drink sometime. And they were like, or coffee or lunch. And I was like, yeah, anything that we could consume in a place. I don't know why I went straight there. And I was like, I feel so awkward. Like, why did I say that?
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible thing when suddenly someone just looks up at you and goes, Oh. Weren't we just drinking last night? You want to start drinking again?
Yes.
But see, that has never happened to you, Chris, because the friends that you used to have were one and the same. Yeah. And I mean, I was like that with my crew. But when you get outside of that world, Chris, and it might happen someday, you might meet someone who didn't grow up in a fucking row house near you. And you might find out that they live a different way than you lived.
I had an old boss who said, like, oh, I'd like to get out after work. Let's have like a meeting, whatever. I just assumed she was saying we were going to go get a drink and talk about whatever. She took me to a juice bar and wanted to do those like wheatgrass shots. No. And I was like, this is so weird for me because to me, I understand the sun is still out, but it still feels weird to discuss business over like wheatgrass. It felt weird and unnatural.
Yeah, that is really fucking. That's actually one of the worst things I've ever heard in my life.
Wheatgrass.
Then you're saying this isn't relaxing. This is not, this doesn't make me fucking forget the stresses of my day. It's wheatgrass.
And by the way, I didn't feel treated. I understand that her thing was like, we'll go out, we'll discuss this stuff. I'll take you out. It's on me. You're going to assume that means dinner and drinks.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we get on a fucking exercise bike and you act like that is a treat? Because it's not. Vito has another breaking news story about the gentleman who's got a big movie coming out this week, Kevin Hart.
Yeah, so Kevin Hart's home has been broken into over the weekend, and he got about $500,000 worth of jewelry, clothing, and watches stolen while he was in Miami weight training with Ndamukong Suh.
Whoa.
No.
What?
That's insane.
That's actually
$500,000.
Well, yes, that's a couple of gigs for Kevin. I know that you're laughing about it, but I mean, he's selling out stadiums, and that's his stage jewelry that he needs. So your point is not, oh, this is a horrible thing that someone would break into another person's house, a person who only brings joy to the world. You're making of, I could have gotten $500,000 if this was me. You live a criminal life.
Now, do you think a criminal would like stake out the place and go, oh, this is Kevin Hart's house. Yeah. I know that he's going to have, or do you think it's just like, that's a big house?
No, I don't think anyone breaks into a house anymore without knowing whose house they're breaking into. If I was to guess somebody who did this, they're probably referred to as a baller. Is that still current? Are we still ballers?
Yeah.
I feel like the people still say it.
Whew, good. But yeah, I would think that they would know it was Kevin. I would think that they know they were looking for jewelry. Horrible, though, man.
Well, he's always like periscoping and Snapchatting exactly where he is at all times. So they know he's away when he's away.
His Snapchats, and they last 10 seconds, his Snapchats, he does 20 of them, so it's, one long conversation. I just Periscope, dude. But he doesn't Periscope that much anymore.
No, he'll do it once in a while, but his Periscope is different, where I was on it last week, and you could get stuff from like a month ago on his.
But, Vito came up with a good thing. So suppose you are a guy who's been cased in the house for a while. You know that he's probably not putting his jewelry into a bank. It's somewhere in the house. And the way he Snapchats, I mean, I could tell you when he was doing Jimmy Kimmel. I could tell you when he was doing the Today Show. He lets everybody know.
It's like a marker exactly where he is.
It's the exact opposite of what, a cop will always tell you to keep from getting your house broken into. You don't want to be in a routine. And the cops, and I go, why is that? And they go, well, they don't just go and do what you said. Like, hey, there's a big house. Let's see if there's a window open. These guys are professionals. They've got a Chris Stanley type sociopathic behavior where when they hear about a crime, instead of thinking about the victim, they immediately go to, what if I had all of that ice?
Bling.
What if I was no, I can't think of the name. It's Animal something on TNT right now. It's Animal. I saw the pilot show last night. It's about these fucked up California people. I mean, California people who look like the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but are all bigger. You know what I mean? Like those dudes, like those cold, ugly, mean surfers.
The War Childs.
What's that?
The War Childs.
The War Childs of the world. And they go around robbing places and doing extreme mean shit, but they're really white trashy.
I'm terrified of these people.
Oh man, when I was watching it, I'm like, I kind of feel like this show is good, but it's making me sick to my stomach. Because, you think you go to LA, it's nice. No, there's also this weird underground that's constantly run in LA since the beginning. And fucking Nazi surfers, they all look like Laird Hamilton, but they're not that nice.
Yeah.
They're like Laird Hamilton when he snaked that fucking guy in Turtle, had to catch him. What was that Hawaii movie? I'm surfing in a pool and now I go to North Shore.
North Shore, yeah. You come back to North Shore, eh?
Yeah. It's Animal Kingdom is the name of it. Hold on, we got another spy report breaking this quick. Gordon, go ahead, buddy. You're on. You got a spy report.
I got a spy report. LAPD are confirming that they have made an arrest in the Kevin Hart break-in. It was Keith Robinson.
Oh, man, my callers are so funny today. We're just training new interns. They do not have it down yet.
They're new.
Lord knows.
They're green.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something, Vito. When you lean into your mic and purse your lips, I feel like you're waiting for your spot, but you weren't.
No, that was just my natural body's lean.
That's got to change, dude. That can't be it. Tom, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Mr. B, I think it's Animal Kingdom.
That is correct. Did you watch it last night?
No, but boy, I saw a preview for it on, of all places, that show, Last Call with Carson Daly, and boy, it looked good. I couldn't believe that was Ellen Barkin. I was like, holy shit.
Well, this is the other weird thing. So, Ellen Barkin is the mom of these 4 fucking psychopaths, right? Now, they're all tatted up, and they're constantly punching each other and bringing broads. So she's the mom. Her daughter ODs, so the nephew, the grandson moves in, and these are his uncles. And it's kind of like they're taking this nice boy and getting him into the gang. But Ellen Barkin is, she's in her mid-50s. She's being ridiculously sexy in this thing and somewhat inappropriate with the boys.
Right.
It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, she's so sexy.
She's sexy and scary. Like she's evil.
Like
sexy.
She's from the frets of the devil.
It's a weird show, and I'm hoping it gets canceled so I don't have to watch it. Because I couldn't turn it off, but it made me feel uncomfortable. And the crimes that they do are exactly like the Pink Panther gang in England, where they just drive through doors, jump out, steal jewelry, jump back in. They're blasting at fucking cops. Cops are blasting at them, and they're doing their own fucking surgery on each other. It's fucking crazy.
I just pulled it up. Those are bad boys.
Those are not nice California boys.
No.
Like, this is the Beach Boys, except for if they killed and ate their dad.
Man, she looks incredible. She always looks great.
I know, but she's definitely late 50s, and she looks incredible.
She's one of those people, whenever you have the conversation of, like, with people, like, what is the oldest celebrity that you're sexually attracted to? She comes up, I think, a lot.
Yeah, but that other one, that English lady always wins, the gray-haired one that everybody's crazy about.
Helen Mirren?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Helen Mirren always, like, people are like, this might sound nuts, but I'd bang Helen Mirren. I said, first of all, A, you wouldn't. You know what I mean? She's getting better dick than you. And B, I hear it too much to make it shocking.
I always like when a woman will say like, oh God, she's so beautiful for her age. I hope that I look like that when you're older. It's like, well, if you didn't look like her when you were younger, I don't think that you have a shot.
Well, Helen Mirren, when you go back and look at her in the 60s, it looks like Jennifer Lawrence. They look like sisters. That's how fucking close they are. Now, we were playing that game one day, and I was playing it with Chris, and I go, who's an older person that you would definitely sleep with? He doesn't even miss a beat. He goes, Noam Chomsky. And I'm like,
no,
that is a fucking crazy answer.
Just want a piece of that.
And then I said, why Noam Chomsky? And he goes, because he owns the Comedy Cellar. I go, Chris, I can't even fucking have a conversation with you anymore.
It's the wrong Noam, Chris.
Are you sure?
And now I'm really uncomfortable knowing your answer. Wow, she really, I'd never really realized how much she looks like J-Law.
Yeah, they post this up on magazines all the time. That's her in like 64, 65.
But yeah, that's not a unique one where you're saying, you know who I'd actually sleep with.
This might sound fucking crazy. I know, you're just repeating it. Bill Murray is getting the next Mark Twain Award for, I guess, all the great books that he wrote over the years. Yeah. And Netflix is getting the Ricky Gervais movie. I guess he was on with Jimmy yesterday. Now, that means it's bypassing the movie theater?
I believe so, yeah. Netflix
They just bypass. No. You bypass theater, you bypass TV, you go directly to Netflix.
Now, I wonder if you are taking a gamble, like you're saying, okay, it's a more of a sure thing, how well it will do, as opposed to it can't bomb, but it can't
Well, who's taking the gamble? Who are you talking about? Is Netflix taking the gamble or Ricky Gervais?
Ricky Gervais.
Oh, I think Ricky Gervais is just saying, I'm going to reach the most amount of people for the best return on investment.
Right.
I mean, these are just like you used to do, just like anybody would do an HBO miniseries. You're not going, what? You're not taking that to the theater first? It's just, you were saying this is the platform to reach the most amount of people. Now, the thing about Netflix is they never tell anyone how many people it reaches. No one knows. They know how many subscribers they have, and it fits into their program. But I do know from Tom Segura that his life changed when he sold his thing to Netflix. I believe Ali Wong's life is changing as we speak, but you don't have the hard numbers to back that up. What you see is suddenly people who did not have a major national and international following have one. But, Ricky Gervais, no offense to him, is nowhere near the fucking movie star that Adam Sandler has been since the early 90s. And Adam takes his movies directly there. And as far as I can tell, he's happy with it.
Right.
He's happy with the move. For me, it's the weirdest thing in the world because you see somebody who's a movie star, they don't even just say, now I'm going to do an HBO show or something like you've seen people do before. They just go directly to, I'm giving this, I'm handing this. It's only going to be on Netflix. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's got to have such an impact in the way entertainment moves from here, because as it's getting more and more of a solitary experience, in a way that even TV I don't think really took away from movies.
I don't know. I'm sure it changed movies, between, if you look at let's say the 40s to the 50s, I'm sure, movies were in trouble in the 60s. The reason why the 70s movies were so good is that they had almost given up on movies.
Like big budget type.
And they let young people, look, you seem like you know what you're doing. You have long hair. The audience has long hair. And I'm not even making that up. It would just be guys like, I don't know what you guys like. Make sure I get my money back and a little extra, And all of a sudden these movies became hits. And then the adults started to pay attention again. There's plenty of people writing now that the movie experience as we know it is over. It's fucking done. And I don't doubt that, because even independent films don't exactly feel like they're challenging anymore. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But the Netflix thing, I don't mind. But now they're saying Hulu Amazon, CISO. I'm going, what? I can't just get the one package like I have with fucking cable where I get the,
Yeah, can we bundle these?
That's what I want. I'm going to start and bundle stuff.
Bundle it up.
I'm like, well, what is my fucking password again? They tell you not to use one password, but you're crazy if you don't. Here's Bren in Nebraska. Bren.
Hey, Ron. Ricky Gervais's movie is going to open in the UK in theaters in August, and then next year it'll be in America on Netflix. So it is going to be in some theaters.
But not in the United States.
Right. So he wanted to do a big press tour with it in the U.S. when it comes out on Netflix next year.
The weird thing is that there's no more like opening weekend for like that's really strange. Where now it's here now and you can watch it whenever you want.
Well, it's almost like it's 9 months from now. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. It's almost got to the 9 months. But yes, if you don't open in theaters, you don't have an opening weekend. That doesn't happen.
It's very strange.
It's strange. This is a quote of Gervais's, though. I'd rather have millions see it on Netflix than thousands in the theaters. And there is a lot of truth to that. If you don't open large, like, The Rock is going to be doing with Kevin Hart this weekend, if you don't open that way, it's very, very difficult ever to get a following. Like when this Lonely Island movie bombed, everybody who saw it said this is funny as shit. And I go, yeah, but the opening weekend, they're going, well, maybe it'll be word of mouth. I go, I don't even think that ever happens anymore. Like the second that the movie doesn't open big, it starts to lose its theaters and it's
right,
all but gone.
Word of mouth works when it's on Netflix or you're able to get it, on TV, on demand or something like that. You're more likely to say, oh, okay, I'll go see that then if you're like, or I'll tune into it.
Yeah, the thing about Netflix is you're basically only get it no matter if you don't even like it. Because I was sitting around watching a movie going, what the fuck am I watching this for? And I just left it on there, stopped it for a while, played a little fucking video soccer, and I go back, I better watch a little bit of this movie. I don't want to say who it was, but it was that fucking Sandler Indian movie.
Do-Over?
No, not Do-Over. This was the other one, an Apache, raised by an Apache. What is it?
Ridiculous Six.
That can't be it. It's got to be something funnier than that. I did see Do-Over, though.
How was that?
It was Sandler being a little different. It was certainly better than Ridiculous Six. But, it felt like a Netflix movie. It was certainly something I was never going to ever watch until it got into, more or less, an HBO type platform.
Right.
So it was the same for me as if it came out now. I would never go to the theater to see these.
But like Ricky was saying, no matter what, that is always going to further your career more if you're getting your name out or your art out to that many more people.
Well, let's say this with let's make a movie, right? The fun part is writing and making it and doing all that. When it gets out, you get the response, it gets responded to, but all you're looking for after that is, all right, what's the next thing that I could start and write and put together and have fun with? So, there's nothing fun, I don't think. It must feel great if you've got the number one movie of the weekend, but then the weekend after that, you just got to start working on the next thing. You're only giving up that one part of it where you're either ecstatic or sick to your stomach, on that week, right, how the movie came out. And then your life is back to the way it was before, So, it's the same thing. Let's say if you're Tom Petty, yeah, you probably want this thing to just come out on vinyl. You want people to go to the record stores. But after that, you got to start writing and recording a new album.
Yeah.
It's just, then that's the other work. The actual sale of anything is a very limited amount of time. There's some people that's all they think about, but for the artist, you're Tom Hanks, you got to run around and do all the shows, but then he's like, is this script any good? Who else is looking at it? Oh, he is? Then I'll take it.
I mean, I'm sure you do miss the buzz of just the moment of like the idea of big screen. I still think that that's got to be a high you can't really.
It's
replicate.
the preferable way to even see a film, right? But how many do you go out and see in the theater this year, and you consider yourself a movie watcher? Every weekend I look to go to see if I want to go see a movie, and most weekends I don't. Now, when we were talking to Joe List, he's saying he goes to see everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've had periods of my life like that where I was just going to movies. I don't remember the last time I felt that way.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me.
I know one thing, I never want to see it at certain theaters.
Oh, yeah, bad theater experience.
But I mean, even the area that they're in, the type of environment that they bring in, I'm not even talking about sound and screen. I'm talking about going to 40 fucking 2nd Street and all the shit that you got to go through. You're taking 6 fucking escalators, then you're cramming in there. Look how happy Vito is with that. That's your favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I like those. I like the movie theaters that have gimmicks with them too. Like there's some that have reclining seats. There's some that are 4D. So I like going to those massive theaters.
You're the reason that people like me hate movies now. We got an emergency broadcasting system coming up before 47?
Before 47. Anytime before 47.
We don't know when it's going to happen?
We can control it when we play it, but we just have to play it before 47.
Can we play it? We can't play it during a break then, or we can't?
We have to break, but we can just play it right now and not break.
But could we fool people and say this is an actual emergency, or do we have to tell them this is not an actual emergency?
You have to tell people it's not an actual.
Because the other day when some amateur astronomer caught this thing that he believed to be a ship whipping past Jupiter at an incredible speed, I'm like, I see that and I go, how long before it gets to Earth?
Like, what do we have? Hours? Days? What do we have?
Hopefully months if they drive as slow as we do up there. All right. Lewis has something he wants to throw in very quickly. Lewis.
Hey, what's up, guys? I think VR is going to save the movies. Just think about it. Like, you put on your headset and you're virtually there with people. You're watching on the big virtual screen. I think that's going to...
No, you're going to be in the movie, not watching the movie with virtual people. The movie is going to be taking place all around you.
Yeah,
I know about that, but that's more of a solitary thing. I'm talking more about, like, the experience. Because for me, movies are fun because you're watching it with other people. You're getting their reactions. They're laughing. I like that whole aspect of it. I mean,
yes, because you know why you enjoy that? Because you have an ethnic background. We would like just the opposite. I don't want to hear somebody yell out, "Oh shit, son," or "Now she a whore." It's one of the reasons I don't want to be at 42nd Street. And black people take a lot of the heat for it, but I see Hispanics mixing it up in there.
They're right there with.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yep. You're right about that.
All right, thanks.
All right.
And you know what? I'm going to admit, I will laugh as someone yells out, "Now you his bitch." That makes me laugh, but it still takes me out of the movie. Because then I think, I wonder if I yelled this out in a minute, and whether people would just turn around and say, "Shut up, white guy." It might not be as well. All right, do we have to break, or?
No, we can just play it.
All right, we'll just play it. Let's play it now. Now, no one worry. This is not an actual emergency. If it was, we'd be crying, okay? But we're not.
Everything's okay.
Everything's A-okay. I just want to do this so I can make an emergency announcement to you. Well, this is just the opposite. This is when there is an emergency, they don't have to depend on us to explain it to people.
Oh, no.
So let us do this. Someday, hopefully you'll never have to thank us for this because we'll never play it. There you go.
That's the sound.
That's the sound of normally a tornado. Any place that I've ever worked at only has come in, and only a couple times in my entire career, and every time it was for tornado. And I kept thinking, should I be here? Am I in a tornado zone?
Should I leave?
Yeah.
No, you need to be there to keep broadcasting through this.
Well, we used to have and when I worked in Florida, a hurricane room that would have lamps, blankets, water, so that if you were stuck in there during a hurricane, and they would have a hurricane team, and you sign up for the hurricane team, and everybody, would be writing their name down. I'm like, no. And they're like, why not? I go, I have my own hurricane team to take care of at home. You know what I mean? Like, what I am going to do in a hurricane is take care of my family, not be out there. I don't know if you can hear me, but I shouldn't have stayed. Water is filling up. The roof is gone. There can't be a God. Not with a storm like this.
They've been using that same tone my whole life. That's a very
uncomfortable tone.
Yeah. Like, why'd they pick that?
It never got used until the movie Dumb and Dumber. And after he... I hear the most annoying sound in the world. That's when the time that you looked and you said, Jim Carrey can open his mouth wider than any human being in history. So, Chris, now you can calm down. You've been nervous for 30 minutes to make sure that played.
Now we know.
Wanted to make sure that got out there.
Now it's clear why.
Thank God.
This is a little comedy news story. Jeff Garlin is going to star in and direct a Netflix movie with Amy Sedaris and Eddie Pepitone.
That feels like it is tailor-made for me.
I will be watching as well.
I can't believe Amy Sedaris and Eddie Pepitone and Jeff Garlin, those three people, that's insane.
Well, this is a great example of somebody that Netflix works for. Jeff has directed a couple of small films that had those limited indie runs. And I remember once he did this movie, Somebody to Eat Cheese With. It had opened in one theater, right? And we went over the weekend thing, just me and him sitting in the back with doing the numbers. And then we go, what if this had opened? It opened at the IFC Theater. And it did nice, solid business all weekend. And we were like, what if this opened wide? What if this opened in 2,000 theaters? And we're sitting down doing the math. And then we were like, well, what if it was 3,000? We're just doing the math. And then somebody comes in, all right, we're ready to start. And Jeff goes like this, hold on, we're having fun trying to figure out what it was like. Better than everything in The Unmasked. Then what would it be, Ron? How much would I be bringing in then? It was so fucking funny. But that's the shit that you go through. That the movie opened, it's getting great reviews, it's an limited run, doing great business in that, but it never gets that mass thing. Gets on cable, people like it. He gets to make another one, but the same thing happened. A lot of people are writing in to me too about Animal Kingdom, that it was the remake of a 2010 film that was really crazy, an Australian film. And I was aware of that. And I know that the woman who played a mother there had gotten an Oscar nomination, but I've never seen it. Australian films make me uneasy as it is. The environment is too fucking crass. The people are just a little too rough.
Yeah, they have a darkness to them.
They make me feel like I'm English. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm Hugh Grant. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not sure I feel safe here. I wonder how many times Hugh Grant goes somewhere and he thinks to himself, I don't like this environment. Someone could knock me over. That's how I feel with Aussies.
Yeah, everything about their culture is very rough.
It's like a bottle to the head. Everything is a bottle to the head over there. That's why they had to take guns away from them. They just never stopped shooting. It's Mad Max, 24 hours a day in that place. I guess if you just grow up on kangaroo meat, you're going to grow up kind of angry.
Sure.
But we're at the point now that if we have a role and we need a masculine person, the type of roles, let's say, that a Burt Reynolds or a Clint Eastwood would have gotten in the 70s. They just have to immediately give it to an Australian. And they'll say to the American actors, you're much too effeminate. You're too gender fluid to do this film.
They gave a bunch of that dude, Sam Worthington. He was like an action star for a little while. He's an Australian guy. All they did was just give it to him.
There's a perfect example. Sam Worthington is one of 50 actors that we could give this to. You know, it started with Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
He's like such a man that people had to say, look, we can't let you make movies anymore because you're thinking like a guy who scratches in the dirt looking for insects to eat. I can't have you into some anti-Semitic tirade in the middle of a love scene. You're fucking scary. You're drinking before breakfast. Just fucking straight whiskey and raw eggs is not a Sunday brunch. Stop it.
They're rough.
Yeah. I can't even think of one Sam Worthington movie.
Me either.
Terminator Salvation.
Oh, I forgot. You and Vito go to the same theaters.
Wasn't he the guy in Avatar?
Yeah, he was in Avatar, I think.
These are really masculine films. It is the Bennington Show on a Wednesday. Tonight is Comedy 101. Let's say as we go to break, we'll give out the only pair of tickets available to Comedy 101. I know one guy has texted. He's on his way up from Maryland right now. Not text it, but tweet it. He's on his way from Maryland to Comedy 101 right now as we speak.
It makes it feel like it's already begun.
That's a fine idea. They've named the best restaurant in the world. And this, Chris, you put up as the first Italian restaurant ever?
Yeah, to ever be number one in the world.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant it was the first Italian restaurant.
Oh, no.
It's never existed.
So this is the way I read it. First Italian restaurant ever, comma, named best in the world.
To be named best in the world.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
The correct way to write
So
that.
I had it as that in my head, this restaurant was 400 years old and had finally been named best in the world. I know a lot of people downplay Italian restaurants when they go out to eat. You know what I mean? That no one ever thinks of, hey, we're going to go out for a lovely meal. Let's go to an Italian restaurant. They think of that as, hey, we're going to get 2 pitchers after the game. Let's go to an Italian restaurant.
Yeah.
They don't think of it as fine dining.
But very, very upscale Italian is amazing. It's very different.
It's very light.
Yeah.
It's not what we would consider Brooklyn Italian. A lot of the Italian, what we consider Italian food in anywhere in the country is that heavy Italian that kind of came out of Brooklyn, but not so much Italy.
No,
the Italians don't eat that way.
No, it's a lot lighter than that. The pizza is lighter than that. Pasta is very light,
and it's not beef. It is not beef based the way ours is. There's not meatballs.
No,
you don't get meatballs in Italy.
No, it's
you
not.
got sausage.
There's sausage, but again, it's kind of done lighter than the way you see it in Italian American. It's not like giant hunks of sausage and thick, heavy red sauce.
Also, when you see Italians that live in Italy, you don't see big, giant sweatsuit wearing guys.
I know, actually.
You know? It's like Italians in Italy are tiny people.
Yeah.
And Italians in America are gigantic people.
Yeah, they're tiny, they're pretty stylish. Or at least they're stylish in their own way, like they care about their appearance.
Sunglasses are more expensive in Italy than anywhere else.
Sunglasses, kind of everything is done with a certain amount of flair. And one of the big culture shocks for me was just seeing what their cops looked like.
Their cops?
Their cops are like young and like fit and like
models.
Yeah, like attractive men and women, downright Baywatchy looking. It's really strange considering in New York, there's a certain stereotype of.
Well, the word that you're looking for is Guido. It's a Staten Island Guido. It's a fist pumping, axe wearing, for no apparent reason, be using free weights. at places that you don't expect to see them. Why don't we break here? We're right back. This is Bennington. We're ready to get out of this surf sound.
I know.
Animal Kingdom has turned me off the surf music in a big way.
It makes you realize how aggressive it is suddenly.
Yeah, it is aggressive. It's an ugly, cold ocean aggressiveness. Typing away as we do the show. It is the Bennington Show on a Wednesday. Coming up a little bit, we'll have you call in and win the only pair of tickets available to Comedy 101 tonight. We have 3 judges, 3 secret judges. Hopefully, people said we like it when we don't know who the judges are going to be. These are all big comedy hitters. Excited to have them with us. Excited to be at the stand. We were just there the other night for Big J. That's going to play on Friday. It's actually going to be Big J Day. It's a salute to Big J. He's got Skankfest this weekend, so you can watch his special with him. And it is tonight. Big J is on Midnight Tonight. Tonight.
Nice.
So in a little while, we'll announce now the time for tickets. You call in, you'll get the only pair of tickets that exist on the planet Earth.
The very last
to see this. It's we haven't talked to him in a long time. It's G-Man from Charlotte. Hey, G-Man.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Hi.
Long time no talk.
Yeah,
hey,
it is.
Ron, I'm a little behind, man. I'm listening on the app, but I was just talking about this the other night with my wife, and going to the movies is dead. You're right. The entire experience is gone. So we just decided we were going to spend a substantial amount of money and put in a media center in the house because we can have just as good quality picture and sound and access to everything that's out right now. So.
Now you can, but that changes within a couple years too. Like that's a temporary upgrade as well. Within a couple years, you're like, why do I have this shit?
No doubt.
But yeah, and it's, I go to screening rooms all the time, and it's still not the same experience as seeing the big comedy with everybody, the big thriller with everybody, the tearjerker with everybody. It's a different experience.
Yeah, I oftentimes miss that experience when I want to see something, I wait for it to come out on Netflix or something, and then I'm like, I probably should have seen this in the room, especially if it's an epic of any kind. If it's meant to be big.
What's the last movie that you felt like? Star Wars is the last movie that you felt like you had to see? And even then, I don't remember that as, an epic in the old-fashioned way of being an epic.
Star Wars was that way where I was like, there's no point of waiting. You have to see it in the theater. There were a couple movies from last Oscar season that I was kind of catching up towards the end. The Leonardo DiCaprio fights a bear one. I was like,
I still couldn't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I felt like this is something I have to see in the theater because it's going to be completely lost.
Was I the only one rooting for the bear? Was that wrong to want the bear to win?
No.
And I wanted them to win and win early so we could end this.
Kill Tom Hardy, too.
You really hated that Tom Hardy character.
I hate the whole movie. I thought The Revenant sucked.
I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was...
You should be a movie reviewer, Chris.
Sucked.
Yeah.
Sucked or didn't suck is his ranking system.
You could call your thing just ripped. Just because that's how you see all the movies, ripped. Oh, there's a filibuster going on. There's nothing worse than a filibuster to me. Some people love them. I think it's one of the things that I hate about our government. Just talking endlessly.
Who's doing the filibuster now?
The Democrats are doing a firearm filibuster. I don't know what they're supposed to achieve with it. I know some people, including the media, love a filibuster.
I think that around the time of his big filibuster, I think that was kind of when I first became aware of Bernie Sanders, when he had done that filibuster in Vermont that was on, Wall Street and...
Right, and a lot of good that did, Bernie, thanks. Everyone saw Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, so you love a filibuster. But in real life, they're dull as fucking dishwater. They're just terrible. I don't know what you're fucking talking about. So get to the point and sit down. Let the government run on.
Just come up with a 10-point plan, print it out.
Charlie Sheen is going to be pitching condoms. He's the guy who he got HIV and now he wants everyone to wear condoms. Not before.
He's making it work for him though. He's taken this idea and he's like, how can I make a buck out of this?
He is pretty known on how to turn something into money. You know, he's pretty good at that. Hey, the stand up to hunger is happening Monday, June 20th, 7 p.m. at the Gotham Comedy Club. Pete Dominic, who is Hard Rock Johnny's best new girlfriend, is going to be hosting the event. Jackie Martling, Gilbert Godfrey. That's a big show. whyhunger.org/Gotham Comedy for more information. I believe that when this is over, no more hunger after this sets. Everybody will be filled. I guess getting potato skins. And, because it's easy to serve in the dark.
I think this is definitely more effective than a filibuster.
I like a filibuster where it's just people from Philly. So this was brought up to me. I am doing Skankfest this weekend. And I don't know exactly what I'm doing. Am I melting? Is that what we
You're
call
mashing.
it? I'm mashing. I'm not melting. I'm mashing with Big J.
We don't want you guys to melt into one.
I don't see how, but mashing is not, I don't think when you mash something together, it doesn't flow as nicely as if they melt together. It's, it's at the creek in the cave, so we may be melting there, from what I understand. But I don't know. Where do you go for tickets for this? Skankfest.com probably.
I'm not sure. Where can you get tickets?
And the Creek in the Caves website, creeklic.com.
Creeklic.com. And then the mashup has its own thing at Skankfest. Skankfest. You go. All right. This is a thing that Chris sent in, and it just says this is another one of his great titles. The kids these days, not just the kids, it's the kids these days love calling each other daddy.
Yeah.
Now, how is this a new? I mean, people said this in the 30s.
So it's coming back? Daddy's making a comeback?
It's made a huge comeback. Kids are, and it's not even just being called as like a name, like "What's up, Daddy," but also "That's so Daddy."
Okay, that I don't like.
Because say something
That's
so
daddy.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but I do like saying but I'm a little annoyed because I like daddy. I've used daddy. I think it's a cool nickname for a friend.
Yes, that's the thing. You don't call your actual father daddy.
No, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I don't use it in this situation. It would just be confusing. Like, listen up, daddy. Which?
Well, that's the thing. Like, people have said this forever, but I didn't know until I read this, and this is the funniest shit in the world, that at Trump rallies, they will start to chant, "Daddy's gonna win. Daddy's gonna win.
No.
Daddy's gonna win." And I had never heard that, and I fucking fell out.
That cannot be true.
Yeah.
That's really what
That's
they're
in that
chanting?
article. I didn't hear it. I have never heard it myself.
This article is insane. Yeah. Daddy's going to win. Daddy's going to win. Hooray. That's their chant. Because just calling anything and everything daddy is what kids like to do.
Well, you want to say the big boss is daddy.
Yeah, sure. It makes sense. It's a good little phrase to use. I like it, but I don't like "That's so daddy" as in a replacement for "That's so Raven."
I do.
Because I still use Raven.
That's fucking daddy, dude. We're getting a boat this weekend? That is so daddy. I don't know why we've waited on it. Now, there was a guy, this is how long it's been around. When I was a young person, I want to be fucking careful how I tell the story. I would still fucking jump a fence to get away from this guy if I found out that he thought I was fucking mocking him. But there was a dude a couple years older in my fucking neighborhood, right? And he had a speech impediment. Now, in the meantime, he was a fucking badass. I mean, he was a crazy motherfucker. And he would say this all the time: "Daddy gonna take care of you. You got a problem? Bring her straight to Daddy. Daddy here. Daddy gonna take care of you. Hey, who fucking with you? You bring that to Daddy right away. Daddy take care of you. And like if he bought beers for you, he'd be like, Daddy taking care of you. And you'd have to go, okay, man, thanks. And we did so many impressions of him that we used to be frightened. Now, what he would also do is he would like, you know how like a guy would show off a muscle like this, but he would put it the front way, but he would do it as a parody, and he'd go like this. Look at it. Daddy gonna take care of you. And he would point at his arm while he just cocked his thing back. Daddy taking care. No more problem. Daddy taking care of you. And like we would do impressions of someone that we generally feared. You know, you're like, I want to be funny right now, but I don't want him to hear it, and I'm going to end up in fucking Tinicum Swamps. That's not fucking funny to me. In the meantime, Daddy taking care of you. So we would do it to each other all the time. And then when he would come in, we would be fucking totally nervous. Like, has he heard that we're doing Daddy take care of you? So the reason why I point this out, it's been people have said Daddy forever. Yeah. Why does it just make the news?
Because people are just tweeting it constantly. And I don't think it's been popular on social media yet.
Daddy's gonna win. Daddy's gonna win. Daddy's gonna win.
Hooray.
Hooray.
Dude, I'm voting for fucking Trump now.
For Daddy?
Yeah, I'm voting for Daddy.
Now, Daddy is the kind of thing that you hear people say, you might find it annoying. You start off mocking that person, and then soon you're saying Daddy for real.
Daddy gonna take care of you.
Daddy gonna take care of you.
Daddy taking care of you. Look at that mouth. Look at that mouth. You got nothing to worry about. Daddy here.
Like,
Daddy will pick up your money. Like if somebody owed you money, you'd be acting like that. You'd be like, no, I'll take care of it because he's going to fucking keep the money. You're not getting any.
Not really a favor then.
I wish I could call Fidget right now. He'd fucking back me up. He and I had felt like led the daggone take care of you impression team. And then Fidget actually had business dealings with him. And he would come back and tell the story, and I would be fucking crying. You're picking that up for Daddy, right? That got to be picked up tonight for Daddy. And by the way, no one called him Daddy.
No one responded like, thank you, Daddy.
No one called him Daddy, and no one cracked a smile when he was talking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's Daddy.
Yeah.
That's Daddy for you.
You can't say that's Daddy. I don't think it was ever appreciated. Daddy taking care of you. You got a daddy now. It was just fucking, your blood would run cold.
It's so creepy.
Yeah. And Janis Joplin always called her men Daddy. What's that, Daddy?
How you doing, Daddy?
But why? Because something happens on the internet. It's become a fucking story for the ages. Obviously, a lot of people are uncomfortable with the term Daddy because, you know, they don't want to be seen. Some people will take it too literal.
Yeah.
Sure.
And it's never meant in that way.
Right. It doesn't mean you're my daddy.
It just means daddy issues. Daddy taking care. You got daddy issues? Let me get you some daddy tissues. Daddy taking care of you. He used to wear a fucking Andy Capp fucking hat. Like he was singing for AC/DC. Same fucking corner spot at the bar if you had to come by and talk to him was like his office. Same fucking corner spot.
I think Daddy's going to catch on.
Who need beer? When Daddy take care of it, beer for everybody from Daddy. Scary fuck. Look what it is. Hard Rock Johnny putting an end to hunger.
Wow, thank you for that little plug, fellas. That was very daddy of you.
See, he's on it right
That's
now.
So daddy.
He understands
That's so
it.
daddy. I'm actually watching the Filibuster, and I don't understand, but there's a woman walking around with a typewriter attached to her waist, typing as they talk. Couldn't they come up with a better way to
She's
do that?
deaf, you racist.
No, she's not. She's just taking notes. I don't understand. Can't they? Why would she need to walk around with it? It's like she's like one of those vending things at a ball game but instead of having soda, she's got a typewriter.
Now I don't know where you're watching this. I got on every different channel here, all the news channels, and it's all Trump talking in front of just tons of flags.
It's on Mother Jones has it streaming on their website. I just saw it on Twitter. So
wait, you sit around, you watch Mother Jones's streams.
No, It was on the Twitter, so I just said, "Let me see what's happening with this thing. Let's do a little civics lesson and watch these guys just talk."
Now you're ending hunger, right?
No, I'm just helping out some friends that we do a lot of work with here.
Who are your friends?
The Y Hunger folks. We do a lot of work with Y Hunger for years.
So. You know how you helped the hunger thing?
Potato skins?
No, you tied off, and suddenly there's more for everybody.
there is a little bit more food since then. It has definitely helped.
This is a big show, though. Tell your friends. I'm very impressed with their lineup.
That's what I figured you guys would enjoy. It's a good lineup with little Jackie the Joke Man would do some damage, and I definitely like Pete Dominic as a host.
I know you're a big Pete Dominic fan, and Gilbert is going to be there as well. So that's a solid show all the way through.
Yeah, this is their first foray into trying to do some sort of comedy, so not a bad lineup for a first show for that little organization.
Somebody is that Rorschach that said this is my thing? My girl calls me daddy.
That's daddy.
What he says, you don't want to say that. The quote that he gave, you don't want to even hear.
Oh, good.
But maybe you would want to hear. You're a fucking prevert.
It's so weird, but it's very daddy.
It is very daddy.
It's so daddy.
I like it not as much as you. I think it's kind of more uncle than anything else. That's so fucking stepbrother.
This is going to take off in no time.
What, the uncle?
Daddy and uncle.
Good.
As in different ranking systems.
Kind of mother-in-law to me.
Uh-oh. That's Johnny's thing, huh?
You got
the mother-in-law.
Now the guy's just holding up pictures of guns and pointing to them.
Johnny, you going grade diving?
No. Nope. No, but I will be going crabbing this weekend.
It starts.
Why don't we do a live? Let's do a live Bennington show from my shore house on a Friday and go crabbing live on the air.
How far out you go for crabs? 30 feet?
Right off the deck. It's not very far.
Oh, you just do it off the deck?
That sounds great.
Yeah,
you don't need to go very far. Right.
I'll tell you what. Instead, why don't I just grill the chicken? You know what I mean? I think we'd all like some nice grilled chicken, or as Johnny calls it, crab bait. You got any crab bait wings?
I like to use the backs. Actually, the back is the best part for crabbing.
I think
you don't neck it.
Oh yeah, I always chicken neck.
I like chicken back.
Yeah. Just knowing that a chicken had a back. How did a fucking crab even pick up a taste for chicken out of everything out there? You're never going to run into one. No chicken ever fell into the ocean by accident.
I do like the sound of a Bennington crab boil, though.
Listen, it's there. It's done. There's that lady with the typewriter again.
Well, you know what? It's easy enough for us to fucking broadcast now with just a phone.
Yeah, scope it.
Yeah, we'll scope that shit. Chris Stanley, pretty much the last scoper. We should scope when we're in D.C. later this week, Chris.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be hell yeah. Why don't you just make it your thing to remember, you know?
Hell yeah, Daddy.
Yeah, that sounds pretty daddy idea, daddy. Ron.
Call him Daddy.
He thinks of me that way. You haven't had a father since you're what age?
Oh,
that guy checked out real early, even when he was around. Like,
oh, you didn't see him much?
I saw him, but he wasn't there.
I saw him, but he wasn't out.
In the
mind.
He
was fucking high.
He was just whacked out, yeah.
Did it occur to you as a little kid, like this guy's whacked out?
As a little kid, no, but as I got, like, middle school is when everything, fell into place. Oh, that's why he doesn't really work. That's why he's tired all the time.
Oh, Daddy's tired. Huh?
Daddy was tired a lot. Daddy put a lot of cigarette burns in the couch.
Sure. Very difficult. But you do want to smoke on opiates. I don't know why. Matter of fact, nothing will ever taste as good as smoking on opiates. It's a strange thing.
Opiates and sweet food.
You know, when we had the guy came in the other day that was in prison, I had gotten home, found a fucking thing for him that says, please don't bring up the past. I have my parents listening. And I didn't say it before he came in. And it's the first thing I said as he came in.
Oh, no.
What were you doing in there? Look, you know what I mean? I can't fucking run everything for everybody, you know? Live it, love it, learn it. You know, it's yours. Carry it around.
Like a badge.
Yeah, like a badge of dishonor. You know, not all fucking medals go to the good boys. Bad boys get medals too.
You get a daddy badge.
All right, Johnny. Johnny is, I don't know how he's tied in with this, but he's wetting his beak because it doesn't even take place at the Hard Rock Stand Up to Hunger. It's happening Monday, June 20th, 7 p.m. at Got Ham Comedy Club in New York City. That's the Got Ham Comedy Club in New York City. Hosted by Pete Dominic, Jackie Martlin, Gilbert Godfrey, and more. whyhunger.org/Gotham Comedy for more information. Thank you, Johnny.
Thanks, Bennington's. Very daddy of you.
We'll come down and crab one day. That actually could be a fun show.
Yeah,
just sitting there crabbing on a fucking dock like an idiot.
Bennington crab boil.
Yeah. I'd love to go in Johnny's summer home too. Just see all the fucking Hard Rock booths in there. And
so much.
You know, just a giant kitchen. These big industrial pots and pans.
It's like napkin holders.
Everything he's been able to lift out of here over the years. Or like, Wiki said to me today, hey, weren't there 7 TVs in here? And I'm like, I don't think so.
No.
We always had 6. That's all. Just 6. All right, now we got 2 Clintons and one Clinton, one Trump, and a split screen. He's going to beat up all the Arabs, he's telling us right now. He's going to beat up every Arab. I guess. I don't know how he's going to do it. Fucking 7 times he got out of the Vietnam War. Now he's ready to fucking kick some ass at age 75.
Oh, yeah. Daddy's going to win.
Yeah. Daddy's got bad arches, okay? Daddy's arches are flat. Daddy wants to stay here. Now, what are you going to do? You know? Sean Penn wanted to name his son Steak, and Robin Wright would not permit it.
No, she said we're not naming. They went with Hopper.
After Dennis Hopper.
After Dennis Hopper.
But does anyone else realize that Hopper's a shitter?
Oh, no.
Yeah, you're naming the kid after a turlet.
But Hopper's probably easier to deal with than just Steak Penn.
Well, the problem with Steak Penn is also they're going to some places they'll put your last name first, and then you become Penn Steak.
And people just start calling him State Penn. The fuck with him. Sounds
or
so
Penn State.
Penn State University.
Which was the Penn State place.
What is it with celebrities and the inanimate object names? It's very common.
Mm-hmm.
Then they really like, Apple. I guess that's also food.
I guess they feel that their life is so unique that their child should get a unique name.
Yeah. Coco.
There's one kid, I believe his name was Greek food. Because his dad liked Greek food. Vito, if you had to name a kid right now, what name would you give him?
I always like the name Shea.
Shea, after Shea Stadium?
Yeah, I always thought that would be a cool one. That, or like, maybe a name like Doc.
Like Doc Gooden?
Yeah.
Okay,
They're
so
all
you why don't you just call it Mr. Met? What about you, Chris?
I got 2. One is an object. One is from a movie. Marcellus, after Marcellus Wallace, or Samsung, because you could name Sam.
Samsung?
Samsung.
You're that big of a fucking brand lover? You got a weird one, Gail?
Yeah, if I had to do the inanimate object weird celebrity name, I always thought Castle would be a beautiful name. And then coupled with the last name, it sounds like very regal. Like Castle Bennington.
Well, you're going to give the kid the last name Bennington?
Well, I was just using it as an example.
Sweet. You can use anything with Bennington and it comes off that way. It always comes off like a writer.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds like a writer somewhere.
Oh.
Yeah, probably is. I like Unicycle, I think is fun.
Yeah, Uni then for sure. It's cute.
And then that got me into Clown Nose, which I think could work out. Clown Nose, get the fuck in here, boy. Look at me, Clown Nose. We didn't raise you that way. Clown Nose, you make his family look embarrassing.
Either that or I would just use Ponyboy, like Ponyboy Curtis. Ponyboy Curtis Bennington.
I think Soda Pop had a better name, though.
Yeah.
Your brother, Soda Pop Curtis.
Soda.
Seize upon the moment long ago. What about Chickenback? The same name Johnny had.
That's a good idea. What about Daddy?
It's meta.
And then,
but only if it's a girl.
Yeah. Oh, with an I. You can always put the little I there, and it's Daddy. It's weird because Daddy is close to Danny, and everybody uses that. But almost all names are unisexual now, right? They can go back and forth. Bobby, Joey, Yanny.
Yeah, I think that became a very popular phase for baby names, was doing the unisex kind of names. And then also there was a trend recently of bringing back really old names that's
happening
get used.
A lot. Biblical names.
Yeah, and kind of old lady names for girls like Sophia and Rose. I'm just naming the Golden Girls.
Okay, I see.
But
Nora has come back. And
Nora came back. Yeah,
my grandmother's name.
But of all the old lady names, Gail is not coming back.
Not going to make it back.
It's not
either.
going to come back to favor.
Stupid name. It's a dumb name.
When anyone meets me, they say something like, "Oh, my grandmother's name was Gail," or "I have a great aunt Gail." But no one ever says, "Oh, my sister's name is Gail. My best friend's name is Gail." No.
Does anybody ever struggle with it? Like they can't understand how it's a name?
In Italy, it was very difficult because it does not end in a vowel. And so, people that I met over there, this woman that I was staying with, would try to call me, and she struggled so hard, and she would say, Gail. And then my friend would be like, "Yeah, it's just Gail. Like you just stop right there and it's Gail." Yeah, Gail. Can't do it.
It's hilarious though. All right, tonight is Comedy 101. Just a couple of minutes. We'll be giving out some free tickets for that the iBang has put on hold.
It's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, these tickets went immediately fast, but the iBang put together a pair, and we're going to play this sometime on the radio. I don't know when we're going to do it. I guess, Chris, you'll be in charge of post?
Yes, I will.
It's unusual for you. Stand-Up Hunger is Monday at the Gotham Comedy Club in New York City. Pete Dominic, Jackie Martland, Gilbert Godfrey. But somebody recently just made their big international stand-up comedy debut. 8-minute set, 4 applause breaks, and afterwards the people yelling, Arthur! It's the one and only Jeffrey Gurian. Jeffrey!
Hey, guys. How you doing, man?
4 applause breaks, 8 minutes.
1 applause break every 2 minutes, right?
How'd that feel for you, buddy?
Pardon me?
How'd that feel for you?
I'm still high, man. It was incredible. I was so, it was surreal. It was surreal because it was like a life stream for me, to do that on national TV.
Even though you'd written comedies so many times for so many big events, so many big comedians, you yourself decided never to do stand-up. And then at this point in your life, you're like, let me get back into it. And they put you up.
Well, isn't it? Well, I had fear for so many years. You know why? It's like if you start doing something like when you're in your 20s, you have the ability to bomb, and nobody cares because nobody knows who you are.
Right.
By the time I started performing, I knew too many people in comedy, and it felt like a lot of pressure for me to get on stage because people, if they knew at all what I did, everyone thought I was in the music business.
But here's the thing. The biggest stand-ups bomb all the time. Gaffigan just said he bombs half the time he's in New York because he plays in front of people who don't know that he's Gaffigan.
It's easy for them to say it once they've made it. I know Gaffigan told me in my book that he got physically ill for the first 6 or 8 years of his career. That every time he was going to go on stage, he literally got physically ill. I wasn't that bad, but my fear just stopped me. I couldn't get myself to do it. I wanted to do it, and I couldn't do it. And then one day, I'm just like, "Fuck it! What am I going to wait till I'm 90? I got to go do it."
That would have been adorable if you'd have waited till you're 90.
I was 90.
So
yeah, right?
you give it 3 more years, and then boom, you're like, "I am going to do this.
I'm going to go do this."
But
yeah.
the set went great. It's up on the iBank today. I know different comedians were congratulating you, telling you did great with it.
It was very. the iBang was so nice that they did a whole piece about it. It was really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. And plus, John was the host, and John is an old friend of mine. So that made it really special.
Well, I thought that when he was saying it, I thought he was doing his lion character. He's like, "This is an old friend of mine." Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Tommy Flanagan. Well, they left this out. When I asked him where he was performing, he said he has a residency coming up in Las Vegas. And I said, where? And he said, I can't tell you. And I said, well, why don't you do your lying thing and just make something up? And he thought about it for a minute. He said, good idea. He goes, I'm performing in a hotel that I'm building. He's building his own hotel in Vegas, and that's where he'll be performing. He was phenomenal. He did a show that I couldn't begin to guess what he was going to do. It was such a mixture of all different kinds of comedy, and it ends with musical comedy. Did you know that he could sing?
I had no idea that he could sing. I don't think he ever sang on SNL.
I don't think so either. He has a beautiful voice. And is amazing on the piano. You know, when he first started out, he has a keyboard on stage, so he starts out like just banging like nonsense, you know, like a child would play. And you start to think, well, maybe it's that kind of joke where he makes believe he's playing. And all of a sudden he breaks into a song and people are like astonished, just astonished. And he has an amazing voice. But he ends on a medley of Bob Saget tunes, which is so funny because they're all about Bob Saget not being gay.
And that is true.
And he says that Bob Saget asked him not to do those songs anymore, and he wanted to get to the bottom of who started the rumor that he might be gay. So Lovett said it took him 2 years, and he researched it thoroughly, and he found out that he was the one who started the rumor. Isn't that amazing? So he does like 6 songs, and they're like parodies of well-known songs, but all lyrics about Bob Saget not being gay. And he's just hilarious. The audience loves
up on the iBang, you can see Jeffrey, and you know that he thought it went well because he released it to the world. This was like, if you don't do well, that's it. You destroy any tapes. But Jeffrey's letting this one run its course. I know you heard back for some people. I had said, well, Jeffrey said, what did you think of it? And I said it was like watching comedy in the 70s because he does a very structured act. Now, when you watch young comics today, they're like, they lean against the wall, they don't give a shit. But when you used to watch people like Seinfeld, Richard Lewis, Robert Klein, David Brenner, in 8 minutes, you would get, a structured beginning, middle, and end to each bit that was in the middle of it, all pulled together, transitioning from one bit to the other. So it's almost like a rare thing to see anymore.
And it's interesting that you would notice that because that's how I felt. I said to you, it almost sounds like a backhanded compliment, but it's not. It comes from a different time. When I came up, I learned from the greats, man, people who were around in those days. And we used to look for a premise. They called it a hunk of material. You'd get a premise and you'd write jokes around that. And everything was structured. And you'd write segues and you'd move from one piece to the other so that it went smoothly. And you just don't really see that much anymore. And
well, I said to him, it looked like Richard Lewis was going to come up right after you, right? And then he goes, it's funny you said that. I just heard back from Richard Lewis that he loved, the set. And it was very much like when you would watch Richard Lewis, you'd be like, fuck, that guy is writing, in the way that you would expect a playwright to write, Carlin had very structured material. Carlin's set was typed out. Each beat was done perfectly.
Yeah, I saw him twice, and once more as an adult, once when I was young and once as an adult. And I couldn't believe how structured it felt, how tight the whole thing was, how well written and kind of unwavering he was. It was similar to watching a one-man show.
A craft. It was really about writing jokes. A lot of young comics have come up and said, I can't believe how many punchlines you have. Because that's what it was. It was about developing a premise and putting jokes behind it. A lot of stuff, a lot of jokes about one particular thing. you know. And Richard even wrote to me. He's like, I'm really proud of you. And then he said some other cool stuff. And, you know, I always wanted to write for Richard, and he never let anybody write for him. And years ago, when he did the movie Drunks, I showed up at the theater with pages of jokes for him. And before I even got home, he left me a message on my phone machine, because that's how he is. He's very detail-oriented, and he takes care of things right away. And he said, if I was ever going to let somebody write for me, it would be you. He goes, I don't use anybody's material. But that was such a great honor to me. I keep that phone message because it meant so much to me. You know, he's amazing when it comes to jokes and structure, and I love Richard Lewis. I mean,
he's great.
Incredible. He's just incredible, and he's coming to New York in the next couple of months. You know, he comes periodically.
Right. He plays Caroline's, right?
Caroline's usually, yeah. I will definitely be there to see him. And I'm going to be at the Stand tonight for Comedy 101. You guys going to be there?
That should be a lot of fun. And this is, you know, as you know, with these lovely mentors, and I'm not going to say who any of them are, but they do their best to give a helping hand up to these young comics. A lot of these comics don't get to play the Manhattan clubs. Like, people don't realize that around the country. They're like, oh, what, you know, is your home club? It takes years
to get a home club. Absolutely.
Yeah, it takes years before you're accepted. A lot of guys will stand at a bar for years just stand at the bar and hope to be noticed by somebody
who matters.
Well,
that's what Chris Rock did for years. I mean, he just hung out at the comic strip until one night somebody wouldn't come in or they'd miss their spot, and then they would ask him to go up. Comics used to do that all the time. But that's because there's so many comics these days. There's thousands of comedians. There's not enough stage time for everybody. It's just really hard to get a home club these days.
Well, you know, we're doing this thing, and all kidding aside, with Big J, I think, is it 19 years that his dream was to do a stand-up special?
Yeah, and it's
19 years to get to that point.
Absolutely. People don't realize how long it takes, how hard you have to work.
It's easier to be able to perform brain surgery. You could say, I have a dream. I want to just cut into someone's brain, and you could probably get there in 9 or 10 years. You know, you could, and half the time it takes to do a special, you can cut someone's brain open.
But you see, now he's a perfect example of what they do today, because he's a master at crowd work. That's what he does, and his thing is not structured at all, but he makes it work. Years ago, people didn't do that. You know,
well, Belzer would do crowd work.
Robert Klein did that, maybe, and David Brenner, those guys would do crowd work and observational humor. They were the guys who started observational.
They observed things. Before that, people never observed anything.
Nothing.
They just
looked down.
A lot of people didn't know that some shirts had buttons, some shirts didn't. Exactly. Brenner came along and he observed it.
He observed things, and then he told other people, and then they started to observe things.
And everything changed.
A trend started with those guys. It was amazing. And Skankfest is coming up this week.
Skankfest is coming up this week. I'm going to go up with Big J.
You're doing a mashup, right?
Yeah, I'm doing a mashup, which is I say, hi, Jay. And then at the end of the mashup, I say, all right, thanks, Jay. And then I'm done.
I doubt that it's going to go down that way. What night is that? What night are you guys doing that?
Chris should know that one.
It's Saturday night.
Saturday?
What time?
8 p.m.
I got to be there at 8 or?
A little before 8.
It seems like 8 p.m. is not when I go on, though, it seems. That's what I'd like to get.
Probably when the show starts.
Yeah.
Probably when the show starts, I'm sure. Is it? It's at the Creek, right?
It's not so much the Creek, more the Cave. So it's further in the back. If you go there, I don't think there is a creek or a cave. So somebody could sue that place.
Pardon me?
Somebody could end up suing them for the name.
Suing them for misrepresentation.
Yeah. Now, I've been to a place with creeks and caves, and it's not very nice.
And it's hard to do comedy there.
Now,
you get
mossy.
a great echo, though. You
way too much. And bears. I mean, you don't get heckler. You get bears. All right, Jeffrey, good to talk to you. Congratulations.
Thanks so much, man. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, we're going to tweet it out. It's up on the iBank. You can see Jeffrey, 8 minutes, 4 applause breaks.
Nice.
Unbelievable, right?
That is so great. I'm so happy for him.
8 minutes, 4 applause breaks. Biggest hand is when he left. But still, 4 applause breaks.
That counts.
No, I guess so you're going to get applause when you come up, you get applause when you leave, and then there's 4 applauses in between there.
Yeah.
So really 6 applauses.
That's a lot total in a short time.
And his friend John Lovitz. That's a ticket.
Yeah.
John Lovitz, people don't realize this, but John Lovitz is one of the people, and there's probably only been a handful that you could honestly said save Saturday Night Live. There would not be a Saturday Night Live if not for John Lovitz. There was 1 year they didn't have anybody worth shit. And I'm talking about lousy people like Robert Downey and Anthony Michael Hall. I mean, people that were movie stars, they couldn't get over on that show. John Lovitz was the star of the show, and then Dennis Miller was doing a bang up job with the news. But other than that, they didn't have shit to fucking go to.
Why did they go that angle, I wonder, after having done people who had improv experience or stand-up comedy experience? Why do you think they just went?
They were panicking.
Yeah.
They were panicking because they didn't think people would wait for new stars to be made. People, right after the first season, the first crew, were like, cancel the show. Cancel the show. It's like, I saw some people, they don't like Marty and Maya, right? So they're like, they should cancel this. Like, there's 180 fucking shows on.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to cancel a 10 o'clock show because you personally don't like it because Joe Jonas come on, because next week Tom Hanks will be on.
Exactly.
Fucking giant stars are dropping by the show. But they're like, this is like old school. You're like, yeah, one show's like old school. So what? You can't.
There's so many new school shows.
Yeah. Like, Animal Farm, I think is the name of it.
Kingdom.
Kingdom Farm. Kingdom Farm is fucking crazy. Nothing needs to be canceled now. You have 170 other choices.
Yeah.
You can watch people flip houses
all day.
Yeah, just binge watch it.
I watched Maya and Marty last night. Even though I think, the previous week was stronger.
Yeah.
I enjoy the shit out of that show. Like, it's just really enjoyable.
Seeing Jiminy Glick beat up fucking Kevin Hart.
That was probably the highlight.
Funny as shit. Just doing tiny jokes at Kevin Hart for 7 minutes. And Kevin Hart did the same thing as Larry David. He just started fucking laughing.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't believe I'm fucking being treated this way. I'm just going to laugh instead of anything else.
There were moments of just like shock on his face, and then he ends up just breaking.
Right.
Like he's acting horrified of the things he says, and then all of a sudden he just bursts into laughter.
When Jiminy Glick took a donut and said, if you ever fall off of a boat, I'll just throw this thing and hang on to it. You're small. You're not very talented, are you? So annoying.
You don't say no to anything, do you?
That's true. You don't say no to anything. Who's Todd from Florida? Who we got, Vito? Nobody? Oh, nobody?
Oh, he's waving you off?
You're waving us off? Okay, play that Black Keys song, brother. It is the Bennington show. We got one pair of tickets that the interrobang.com had kind of pushed in the back. We gave it all our tickets immediately. We never think, this is a cool idea to have last minute tickets, but we never think this way.
Very sneaky, I bang.
You think?
Very sneaky. I like it.
That's the summer's catchphrase that we're trying to get going. Spencer Berger came up with, and do it the way that Spencer Berger does it.
I like it.
Yeah. And he wants that to be the catchphrase of the summer.
I agree.
Maybe it will be once he gets to the point where he wants to jump in with us. But he seems to be the hit intern of the summer, right?
Yeah. Spencer Berger is amazing.
He's
to be
beloved.
totally honest. I love him.
Vito says he's doing a good job.
Good job or great job, Vito?
Fantastic job.
Best intern lately or best intern ever?
Ever.
You're a Big Brother guy, right?
Oh, I can't wait for this premiere coming up on Tuesday.
I get stuff from Liz Sets Fire, who says, I'm crazy, it's all about England. And she goes, they got everything. Titty kissing, finger blasting, you name it. And she keeps sending me links. I'm on this crazy run lately. I don't even have time to watch an English show. I never watched an English one.
Yeah, I thought there were only celebrities in England. Or is there two different versions of Big Brother? Because I know
there's two. Right. Yeah, so they had regular Big Brother first, and then they started to do the celebrity Big Brother. But I never watched any of their shows. But I feel like they were at it for a long time before the U.S. show. So by the time the U.S. show came around, they had already had like a ton of crazy things happen.
This is the difference between they don't try to win. We try to win in this country. They just don't give a shit whether they win or lose. They try to be interesting. But we go the opposite direction. We're like, this is about, playing the game itself.
Coach doesn't watch American Big Brother. She watches Argentinia's Big Brother.
Coach is like, if there was such a thing as radical Argentinian, it's Coach.
Yeah. And this is why Spencer Berger's head above her right now.
By the way, this is no, but I tell you this is Coach's first big gig, and she's going to be on the front lines.
Yes, she is.
She's going to be the guy behind the guy at the first thing. I've never seen an intern get as much responsibility as quickly as Coach has.
Yeah.
She's trusted.
We're going to do this off the air. We got one pair of tickets. You got to be close enough to be here, but you can get in. One pair of tickets. We'll take this off the air. 844 Rock God. 844 Rock God. That's for tonight. What time, Chris?
8 p.m. is the show.
8 p.m. at the Stand in New York City. There are 3 mysterious judges that will be judging 6 young comedians ready to go back and make their debut. It will also be the debut of someone that everybody from this show knows. Somebody who listens to Sirius XM would know this person. So 844 Rock God, if you got to be into New York City at the Stand by 7:30 tonight, 844 Rock God, give us a call, and we're going to give away a pair of tickets off the air. Off we go. I'm reading some of this. Fucking brilliant. After that call back to yesterday, consider this applause break number 5. Thank you, Ryan Beck. And then Jay Whiteside's, well, maybe it didn't fucking derail. Choo choo, next stop, Boringville. Some people just write in and say mean shit anytime Jeffrey calls.
I don't care for that.
Some people are not nice. It's like, he just crushed it. He just crushed it. Down to the fact where I could tell you a very important comedy manager contacted Jeffrey after that set.
Really?
Yeah,
I love to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know whether he's going to sign with him or not. All right, we need to take a break here. 844 Rock God, if you would love to see that show tonight. Only one pair of tickets is all we'll be giving out. 844 Rock God. Right back, Bennington Show.
You're listening to Bennington on Raw Dog 99, Sirius XM's Comedy Club.
We got to get rid of surf music. It's too much.
That one, if you listen to that one long enough, once the strings come in, It's very strange. It's like a Legend of Zelda song.
I know, it's very powerful, right? I can do it. Yeah, you should be riding a unicorn just through the fucking wild surf listening to that. All right, it's the Bennington Show. Going to be in D.C. for Ali Wong on Friday, but you get to hear the Big J en masse. Some people claim, if not the best, one of the best of all time.
People were shouting that at the end.
Yeah, they were. People were shouting
yelling it out. That was so much fun. It was a great night, and it was fun right from the start. Just from the second you guys walked in, it was a blast.
It was. It was one of those nights, too. Like, I could tell that he showed up. Big J wanted to go good. But at the same time, I could tell that the audience wanted it to be a great night. I mean, everybody kind of watched Jay's progression. He was always very honest when he was bummed out in his career. And he was, at certain points, like, this just fucking blows. But it's really hard. Like, we were just talking to Jeffrey about this. Some guys in comedy have to stand at a bar for years. And these are funny people that maybe were funny in their hometown. But it's easier to get on the Yankees than it is to break through at the Cellar. I know, I've done both.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. The reason why I didn't want to stay with the Yankees, and I'm going to be honest about this, I found the uniforms are too form-fitting, Yeah. I felt like people could actually see the outline. There's a film clip of Babe Ruth, and you see him swinging at a pitch and miss it, and then you just see his fucking dick slapping against his pants after. This is from like the 1930s. His giant half-black penis that somehow, like, really, Babe Ruth supposedly was the first black player in baseball, not Jackie Robinson.
Really?
Yeah, there was always that rumor, and he would fight with Ty Cobb. Yeah, that is the thing. Watch. And there comes the dick. There comes the cock after the fact. Yeah. So they're calling him a double slugger.
Oh, GIFs are great.
What do you call them?
GIFs.
He says GIFs. I know it's proper, but I never was able to.
I thought he said GIFs. I go, is there something new I don't know about, Daddy? Bum, 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 bum. No, Bob just is a dick about those kind of things. He doesn't really want to come. He's just being an asshole on purpose. Bob knows that he could come to anything that I'm at. But he likes to bitch about the app. It's a fucking app. You can have a radio or an app. It's up to you. You didn't have apps before. I understand that it's fucking slow. I get it. Bum, 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 bum. All right, Todd from Florida just texted me. Very funny. Do. All right, what else is out there on the iBank today, Gail? What is something that's in the year ahead today?
Well, it has now been 10 years since the Lonely Girl 15 saga. She was actually kind of the first YouTube star. Do you remember her? She was actually a fake vlogger.
Yeah, I did not know it when Chris sent it in. And then after I looked at her, I'm like, yeah. And I remember thinking, okay, when I saw this, I go, okay, so YouTube is like MTV, where it's like kids' teen shows. And people are like, no, these aren't shows. I didn't understand the premise of YouTube.
Yeah, and it must have been around that time that most people were just getting to know YouTube in general. So it was just at its early stages.
Really early on. And she was doing everything that all these YouTube celebrities now that are making a shitload of money were doing.
Right.
But people were doing this on MTV right before then, where it was like a documentary about a young girl who was trying something.
Well, they would kind of take the idea that they were doing on their early reality shows, like Real World, where they were saying, what if the whole show was the confessional? So we'll just give you like a camcorder and you will set that up. It was very trendy at that time for like youth programming. So it has been 10 years since the beginning of this kind of vlogger.
I would have said 4 years ago Lonely Girl was popular. I can't believe it's 10 years since, because I remember watching all the videos like, oh, what is this girl doing?
Well, I know I didn't see it 10 years ago, but I know I probably was like 2 years late into that, like I am with anything that opens. You know?
And I remember when it came out that she was, in fact, it was like scripted material.
And later on, she was exposed to being an actress.
But, you know, as bizarre as it seemed then, who would have thought the way the weight that YouTube celebrities
I didn't even know that until Flipper told me he took his kids to a concert hall to see kids that are only popular on YouTube. I didn't know that it got that big, that you could put together a tour.
They're all touring now because they're making their money off the YouTube hits. Now that someone's like, you guys just go out and tour. So now there's like girls that just like give advice, like a group of girls that give advice on YouTube, and they post like sleepover parties.
Yeah, but when you just saw that little girl get shot the other day, these kids have got to wake up to the fact that there's all kinds of people out there. Like Hollywood has always known it since the 30s. You know, Hollywood has always looked out for their stars. But when you're a YouTube star, you don't know what happens in the fucking outside world, you know? You're in your bedroom, and the next thing you know, you're touring. And we're going to hear horror stories after years going by.
And these things are always overnight celebrity. Like, there's no time for adjustment.
You don't.
Exactly. Like, I remember that Miranda Sings girl suddenly was everywhere, and then she was on, I think she was on Fallon, and she was with Seinfeld. She was a comedian in cars drinking coffee, and she is a YouTube comedian.
She has like a character, I guess.
Yeah, she has a character that she plays.
That was weird too when she did. I never heard of her until she did the Seinfeld thing, and then I'm going, "Hell, is this funny?" And people are like, "No, you don't understand. It's real funny."
Yeah, she's huge and very young kids. Huge with very, very young kids. That seems to be the majority.
Yeah, but that was always true of, you know, like if you look at something like Chips or Fonzie, they were never popular with adults. They were always popular with 13 and 14-year-old people. You know, David Cassidy, 13 and 14-year-old people. That's why those guys are like, yeah, I sell out, but I hate it. You know what I mean? Like, they can't stand it once you're an adult and you're playing to children.
Now, have you ever followed the career who was someone either YouTube famous or internet famous? Have you ever got into someone?
That's a great question.
Followed their career?
I'm going to say there was a little girl, and I don't remember her name, but people sent me stuff, and she played the ukulele and would sing songs. She was from upstate New York, and her stuff would get millions of hits. And I can't think of her name. This had to have been like 8 years ago, so I followed a couple of those.
Yeah.
And probably, no, it was a little blonde girl. She was like a little chubby blonde girl. And she would sometimes sing with herself, like she'd come in and do the back. That's her right there, yeah, turn it up.
This is Build Me Up Buttercup.
Yeah, this is it.
Mess me around, and then worst of all, you never call baby when you say you will.
What year was this?
2008.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
How many hits?
This one has 3 million.
That seems like it would have even been bigger.
Yeah, there's so many sects within that too, like music or the people who just do makeup, become like makeup tutorial celebrities.
Yeah, I could never watch anyone do makeup.
I think that there was like only a couple that I've ever, followed their channel and checked in, but probably the one that I've stuck with the longest would be Frankie McDonald, who you told me about.
Frankie McDonald, I forgot about that. I was always a big fan of Frankie's. I don't know who turned me onto it. Maybe Chris or maybe Eastside Dave.
He has a lot of videos.
And yeah, I still check his videos. I follow him on Twitter. He kills me. I think he's the sweetest.
How is he done with it? Because I think he's gotten around to selling merch now.
Yeah, I think he sells merch. He always puts up fan pictures.
Yeah.
Usually ones where girls ask him to take pictures. And he always says, for some reason, he says it in a way where he's like, 4 girls got in a picture taken with me and they love my videos. Like, I just had another picture taken with me with all these ladies.
Well, that's the thing. He's very cocky. He's like, I do a good job.
Yeah.
And everyone likes my weather videos because I do such good jobs.
Now, do you like his weather reports more or his dancing abilities?
I like the dancing. I wish that he'd add music to it because it gets uncomfortable after a while. But I like that he'll tell us what foods to make. But my favorite of all is he gives a warning every year about trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
And that there's bad kids out there. And you can have fun trick-or-treating, but you got to look out for the bad kids.
Yeah, there's going to be bad kids. So.
And there'll be kids dressed as goblins. They'll be treated. And he goes through every single thing that somebody could. He looks really tall. I never saw him with other people to this.
Yeah, he's a tall dude.
He's taller than I thought he was. But real sweetheart guy. Really great.
And one of the biggest reasons I started following him, not only because his videos were so cute, but I loved the comment section.
Right.
That I was always surprised how many people would be writing like, hey, great work on this, Frankie. Like the early reports really helped me. And now I've just gone to the store and got everything I need.
Yeah.
It's just like really sweet stuff. People from all over the world writing
And
him.
then the
He's
occasional
like really,
troll, and they'll all just fucking tee off on the
Is
troll.
this guy retarded?
I hate
Like,
that.
just like one.
Stop it. It's Frankie.
God damn it, it's Frankie, and he's the best.
What's his latest? Has he had one up recently?
Let's see.
For the people who've never followed along with Frankie McDonald. I mean, let's face it, hurricane season is his season.
Yeah,
you know?
That's where he is doing his best work. And he's always there with the early reports.
Right. I don't know how he sets it up, but what is this one, Chris?
All right, this went up yesterday. Frankie McDonald info for the Halifax Hurricanes professional basketball team.
You see, that's not what we're looking for.
Yeah.
We're looking for an actual hurricane. For all the typing you do, fucking detailed never pops into
All right,
it.
South Dakota, he's giving us...
Here's what Chris is typing. I'll just do this. Off topic. And go. Yeah, I got it for you. All right, let's hear it. Take a listen.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major storm is headed towards South Dakota on Tuesday, June 14, 2016. It's going to bring up to anywhere from 25 to 35 millimeters of rain. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be pretty strong, especially in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. It's going to bring a lot of rain. It's going to bring very strong winds that could cause tourists to back up the streets. Since the cold front will be sweeping through Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be very strong. That's going to bring wind-driven rain and sideways rain. It's also going to bring thunder, lightning, Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and the rest of South Dakota as well. It's going to bring a lot of rain. And Tuesday will not be a good day to do outdoor activity, especially in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be pretty strong. Since the warm air coming from the southern United States and the cool air coming from Canada, that's going to cause a lot of rain. Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. It's going to bring a lot of rain. Winds are going to be pretty strong. That could cause a lot of puddles in the streets as well. People in South Dakota, be prepared. Have your rubber boots ready, raincoats ready, raincoats ready. When you go outside, wear your rain gear, wear your rubber boots, wear your raincoats to keep you dry. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy cases of Pepsi, buy cases of Coke. Have your iPads charged. Have your iPods charged. Have your cell phones charged. Have your laptops charged. Have your tablets charged. Have your 3G, 4G ready. When you're driving the car, watch out for the puddles when you drive the car. When you go for a walk, don't walk to the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk as well, because it's going to be a lot of rain, and Tuesday will not be a good day to do outdoor sports in South Dakota, especially in Sioux Falls, South Dakota as well. If you have anybody living in South Dakota, be prepared for a major storm on Tuesday, June 14, 2016. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major storm. Stay, drive, be safe.
And then the smile at the end. His mom says that he's always been interested in weather. There's no point in his life that he wasn't interested in weather.
That is so sweet. That dude is the best.
Yeah, he's great.
And I don't know if he makes them or they give him any of the proceeds, but I have seen him talking about this. This is somebody made a Frankie Says Be Prepared instead of
that's good.
Relax.
That's current.
It's a good look.
That's a current parody. I'm surprised we didn't jump on something like that. Frankie Says Be Prepared. Relax. Don't do it when you want to go through it. Yeah, Frankie's rocking it together. Now, the Snapchat thing, there's only one guy who's the big Snapchatter, right?
Yeah, there's only one.
And that was he the same shooter in Orlando? Because he looks exactly like him.
No, DJ Khaled is somebody different from him.
DJ Khaled should be on Donald Trump's radar. Donald Trump should be watching him constantly.
And what kind of snaps does he do?
Motivational speaking, I would say, is the best way to put it. He gives everybody the keys to success.
I know that you just did a snap with Jeff Goldblum in the background. Did you put that out yet?
Yeah, put it up on my story.
Now, what's your story, your site?
That's the feed where you can see all of the snaps I do on Bennington Snap.
I don't know why I don't always get these from you. Yeah, I get.
They don't have alerts.
Yeah, but even look, I know that he's on mine, and look at all the people that I have, and I don't have.
I don't know how that works. I think you might have to scroll down through them.
Oh, no. I don't want to spend time doing stuff like that. Everybody just look at Chelsea Handler walking around her big house.
That sounds pretty good.
And then the Kardashians just doing nothing. But Jeff Goldblum, he was down there. He was playing a game that we used to play on Road Trip Scale. Everybody plays this game, and everybody believes that they originated it. We believe that we originated it, and that's movie actor.
Right.
So you say a movie, the next person says an actor from that movie, then the following person says another movie that actor was in and around. All right, so figure the four of us sitting here. I'll start it off. I'll say The Godfather.
Okay, so I'll say Robert De Niro.
Taxi Driver.
And all right, so Chris is out.
God damn!
You didn't know who was in Taxi Driver? Albert Brooks.
Yeah, Albert Brooks, and then there's
that's already
Candice
done.
Bergen and
Candice Bergen.
No, not Candice Bergen. Do you mean?
There was
Jodie Foster.
Is that what you
no,
mean?
she wasn't.
Oh, you're thinking of Sybil
I'm
Shepherd?
thinking Sybil Shepherd.
Yeah,
That's
Candice
who-
Bergen wasn't in that.
I get those two mixed up.
All right, we can't even take this trip. We were going to drive down to Johnny's
Yeah.
crab spot.
You know we wanted to do the Bennington
We got
crab boil.
40 minutes to kill, right? So, we got to keep ourselves busy.
Please let me back in. One more chance.
You really want to keep it going?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to start it with an actor this time.
Okay.
So all you have to do is it'll come back because it's going to go actor, movie, and then you'll be back to actor, I think. So I'll start it off. I'll just say Woody Allen.
Okay, I'm going to say Manhattan.
Meryl Streep.
Get a fucking Meryl Streep movie, dude.
Silence of the Lambs.
You know she wasn't in Silence of the Lambs. You're being a dick now. Everyone knows she's not silent.
Okay,
I got
now it
mixed
just
up with
seems
Jodie
like you
Foster.
don't
I got
know.
mixed up with
What
Jodie
is your
Foster.
problem with Jodie?
Jodie Foster.
How am I able to do this?
Wait, but he just yelled, "Ha ha! Table, am I able to do this?" You yelled "table" in the middle of it.
How am I able to do this?
You said "table" though. Table in my anus.
I didn't say table in my
You
anus.
said, "Ha ha, table in my anus," and I don't know what that means.
Dude, I gotta take you to a fucking shrink.
One more.
No.
I won't.
There
I
is no
swear to
more.
God, I won't say anything related to Jodie Foster. I swear to Christ.
You're
But that's the problem. You're not saying anything related to her now.
I say it twice in a row. Jodie Foster things.
just stop. Let's just stop the game. Anyway, Jeff
we can't play
Goldblum
it.
said, "Here's an easy game to play." And you know what? I want to fucking put you down there with him and just see if he doesn't quit Independence Day. Now, by the way, I didn't recognize anybody from him, but in Independence Day.
It's a lot of young actors.
Did everybody else die in the old Independence Day?
Yeah,
I guess so, right?
Yeah, they killed Will Smith off in a little like prequel thing online.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Oh my goodness.
Will Smith is dead?
Yeah, Will Smith is dead. They
What
killed him off in a
happened?
web thing. I think
bad guys get a bad aliens.
I didn't even see it, but I just know he dies.
Spoiler alert for the spoiler.
And then Randy Quaid died in the other one, and he was a big star. And then the singer from New Orleans that
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, Harry Connick Jr. was doing a big TV show in the beginning of September.
Yeah. He died. I believe the aliens killed him.
They killed him early on, right?
Yeah.
But I think Will Smith's wife was down there, right?
Yeah,
not real wife, but movie wife.
Vivica A. Fox is in this one, I believe.
So she's all right. Is the dog okay?
Dog would die of natural causes.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's been 20 years.
No.
Dog was old anyway at the time.
They had to lay that dog down like the last rescue dog. And all I did when I saw that, I go, do not show Gail. You never got around to seeing it, did you?
Mm-mm.
All right, here's what it was, dude. It was the last rescue dog from 9/11. The fire department lines up on either side.
I did see it.
And then the dog is just walking, and it's so sick and hurting, but still happy to see the guys. And I'm like, do not let Gail see this.
Someone sent it to me on Twitter.
Whoever sends that is a terrible person. I tried to keep the alligator news away from you last night because it was like 1:30 in the morning, but I heard you found out.
I did.
From Wild TV?
I found out from, someone sent it to me.
Yeah. So I'm putting together the agenda stuff to talk to, and I keep that off there so Gail doesn't see it. This is how I have to live my life.
I know, because I'm sensitive.
I know that you'd be up all night feeling bad.
I was. I was heartbroken about it. But yeah, someone sent me the Brittany, which was the last living 9/11 rescue dog.
It's the saddest thing I ever saw in my life.
That walk.
Yeah.
And they're all saluting. Too much.
Too much.
It's a good dog.
Yes, it's a good dog. Oh, you're trying to make her cry?
No, I'm not. I'm sad for the dog, too.
You don't seem that sad, though.
Chris.
Hey, you guys are busting on Chris, but you missed it that Gail was wrong about Robert De Niro being in The Godfather.
We said Godfather 2.
You started with Godfather 2?
No, we didn't. You got it. You're going into the pretty good prize closet, Chris. Way to bust that shit.
It's a pretty good prize. It's a pretty good prize closet. We have good prizes. It's a pretty good prize. It's a pretty good prize closet. We're pretty good prizes.
Chris, I got a really good prize for you today, man. You're going home with Memphis Belle, signed by Matthew Modine.
Holy shit.
Wow.
Chris, that's a badass prize. That's wonderbar.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like that you corrected me, but
None of us can. We're all afraid to correct
I know. Everyone was too afraid.
I'm way afraid to correct you. Because you punch.
Oh, yeah. I punch, kick, and then punch again.
She does what she calls the twofers, but it's really just a bite. She'll just bite your arm real hard.
You correct me, you get the twofers. And everyone knows that around here, and that's why they don't correct me.
By the way, does everyone on the planet love Jeff Goldblum?
Yeah.
Is he maybe the most lovable person there is?
He's become the most loved.
He's loved by TV audiences, movie audiences, and theater audience.
He's moved into that Bill Murray status, too, where people are just like delighted at his presence.
That actually is a good point. Like, who could be that next Bill Murray? Like, when Ali died, right? So many stories came out about Ali hanging out with regular people that he bumped into on the street. One guy said that he was driving down the road and yelled at Ali, I'm from, wherever. And then he said he ended up talking to Ali at 4 different red lights. Ali was glad to see people. It's a hard thing to imagine. When you think of most stars that try to go in and out of places, Ali was like, yeah, come on in, jump in. Who did the bit where, more people, it was Louis Anderson. We can fit even more people in the elevator.
Yeah.
Let's all get in the elevator together. I'd never heard anyone talk that way because we always bitch about people in the elevator. but to like human beings so much
Yeah.
that you think it's ridiculous, like, can we fit more people in here?
Yeah.
Is great. Now, Ali was one of those kind of people. Bill Murray is known for showing up at regular people's parties and
Yeah.
giving a toast. But how many people are like that in the world?
I don't think that there's many that have that level status. And I do think that Jeff Goldblum is moving in that direction, but I can't think of anyone else that it would be like universally loved.
Universally loved, and then he loves people back.
I have one.
Okay.
I think he's early on in it. Ryan Gosling, because remember that guy made that meme of Ryan Gosling can't eat cereal?
Yeah.
And then Ryan Gosling, when the dude passed away, he did something for him.
Yeah, first of all, I'm going to agree with you that a lot of people like Ryan Gosling, particularly the ladies.
Yeah.
Ladies love him. But does he, would he suddenly be in a kickball game? Like, people like to take pictures of him and put it up. If he likes people back, you may be right. He might be heading that direction. I don't know if he likes human beings. He wants to be a regular guy. Where I think Bill Murray, John Malkovich, Jeff Goldblum all know that they're somewhat different kind of dudes, and they embrace it. And there's nothing better, I think, in any person than when they embrace their quirks, they get it, and they have fun with it,
Yeah, they have to be self-aware too,
Right.
enough that they can't be so hidden away from the world
You
by
gotta
their
be able
people.
to say, I know, it's kind of weird being me, isn't it? Like, I think Bill Murray knows it's weird to have Bill Murray level of belovedness. And then he leaves things quirky in his life, And like when people say stuff like, can I get an autograph? He will say stuff like, well, you got to jump in that pool first with all your clothes on. Like, he creates moments. All right, Vito, I don't know whether this is your regular look or you're looking into speak. You have both things going on.
I think Kevin Hart can be that next guy because he's already doing the running around. And
Dude,
meeting up
this
with
is a
people.
very good call. Very good call. Kevin Hart enjoys being in public. You're not buying it yet?
Yeah,
you think he's still too young with it?
I think you need a little time because when you're still at the top and the peak of your celebrity,
right.
You're still running off the high of it being a new thing.
But the thing of Kevin Hart saying, I want to get my fans into shape. I want my fans to meet me tomorrow for a 5K.
Right.
I mean, he's an actual movie star. In my life, no movie star could you show up and work out with. And Kevin Hart is that way. He's also lovable. Like, people, like the basketball thing is what really got to me. Those NBA things where Barkley and all those guys would talk about Kevin Hart all weekend and do Kevin Hart jokes. Most of the time, you're afraid to do jokes about a comedian.
Right.
You know what I mean? No one's going to sit around and do Jeff Ross jokes. You know what I mean? No one's going to feel comfortable doing Bill Burr jokes because you're like, that guy can toast me. But Kevin lets himself be the butt of a lot of jokes.
Do you think that Clooney is that way? Because I know that they say he has like a really silly, like boyish sense of humor.
I don't think so. All I hear is like he just wants to prank Brad Pitt and prank everyone on the fucking sets
But
of his
doesn't he
movies.
seem like the kind of guy who is like would find out there's a big group of fans outside and like run and do something silly and take a bunch of selfies with them? Does he kind of seem like he would be?
He hasn't yet. I mean, if he finds out there's a bunch of starving people in Africa who run over and try to give them some oatmeal.
Maybe I'm thinking about his pranks. I know that people say he's very pranky.
He's a prankster.
But he doesn't prank the general public, just his friends. And let's remember this, a prank is never funny. Chris, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, hey, Ronnie. I think both Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly kind of fit into that mold.
Well, John C. Reilly, no. Will Ferrell, probably, but he also has a family that he's somewhat private about. Like, he goes and lives in Sweden and stuff like that in the summer. We don't know enough about this dude. It's always surprising when I hear, like, Will Ferrell has, like, 4 kids or something.
Yeah, Will Ferrell seems like somebody who has a serious side to me.
A downside?
Yeah, or just like that sometimes he's not completely like silly, fun-loving all the
Someone
time.
called, but they hung up, and it was a good one. Chris Pratt is regular dude. Everybody likes him. He probably hasn't been a big star long enough to put into this, but he is a guy that people like.
Man.
I forget what at Easter he and his brothers built a giant cross somewhere and took pictures of it, and I'm like, that is one of the weirdest things I've ever heard of.
I saw a video of him and his wife recently. What's her name? Anna Faris.
Yeah, she's great.
And it was just them in a red carpet event. And you know how normally they'll cut to, okay, like these guys are doing, whatever at this red carpet event, and they have music playing over it, so you're not really hearing the full audio.
Yeah.
This was just raw footage of somebody's camera and listening to the deafening sounds of them clicking the camera and
Terrible.
then screaming their names, and they're being such good sports about this. It's bizarre that anyone has patience for that kind of stuff. And they're telling them to kiss, and then they kiss for them and hug and like pose different ways for them. And I was like, I can't imagine how annoying that would be. It would be so easy to come off like a dick when somebody's pointing a camera.
Especially you only have to come off like a dick once.
Yeah.
For you to be labeled, oh, that dude's a fucking dick and a dick forever. Rob in Texas. Rob.
Thanks. I think Charles Barkley kind of fits into this. I've heard a lot of stories about him just partying down with anybody and everybody.
Yeah, Barkley is a pretty good thing. And also Shaq is, believe it or not. Shaq likes to go out and have fun. And Shaq came in here one time, and he had comedians with him. He was doing a comedy tour. And Shaq is saying on our show that even when I was a kid, I would always like to be the fool, stick out in the crowd a little bit. Do something that people had to take notice of me. And we're looking at him. No. You're so fucking huge. We could sell tickets to see you, dude. I hate to say that.
Do you ever just feel invisible?
But it's so difficult, probably, in high school it's hard for me to be noticed by people.
What?
And then I found out that if I stood up, people would know who I was. Barry in Kentucky.
This is Bo in Kentucky.
Okay, what's up, Bo?
How about Tom Hanks?
Tom Hanks definitely is the regular guy type vibe. But is he, and I don't want to mean this to be mean, exciting enough, party enough, weird enough? He's almost too normal.
Yeah, he comes off like someone like, oh my God, we bumped into Tom Hanks. He was so sweet. He stopped, took a picture.
You would expect
totally, because he has the nice guy reputation.
And Ron Howard's the same way. Like, he and Ron Howard are friends, and you can see why. Neither one of them want anything to happen except for the world to run nicely.
Right.
But you feel like some of these stars we're talking about would probably fucking lean over to the plate and do rails with you. I think you got to have a little darkness to make this thing work, to make this thing fun.
I would not expect that from Tom Hanks. I feel like he'd be gassed.
Let's go to Kevin in Minnesota. Kevin.
Yeah. Kiefer Sutherland and Mel Gibson.
Well, Mel Gibson is too frightening to fit into this.
Oh, look at Kiefer. Hey, look at Kiefer, though. Kiefer likes to be around people so much that he has a bodyguard to hold him back so he doesn't go home with the people and keep partying with them.
Actually, I took an Uber not too long ago, and no, not with him.
Shared
but
driver?
this guy had like a really, really nice SUV, and he was like, "Yeah, this, like I've drove around celebrities before in here." And I was like, "Oh yeah, who did you drive around?" He's like, "A lot of people. I mean, some people really stand out because how nice they are, like Kiefer Sutherland." And I was like, "Oh really?" And he's like, "Yeah, he made me go bar hopping with him."
Exactly.
I do.
This is your designated driver.
But here's the thing. I know what it feels like. Like when they used to have cars for me and stuff, I never wanted to make the guy wait while I went into a restaurant. I like come in and eat with us.
Yeah, why not?
It feels like you're hanging around with that guy. Not that he's. I would feel terrible if I was eating for 2 hours and this dude's sitting outside. He's like, I really got to watch the car. I go, well, pull up next to the window. You can watch it from here. But you got to fucking eat. I mean, we're getting free food here. But you know what Joan would say, and she did it every time with limo drivers. Who's the worst person you ever drove? What did he do? She loved to hear about the worst fucking person. And after one of the last things was she ever said to me was after an unmasked, she goes, "Who's the worst person who just had nothing during one of these?" Because I was telling her how wonderful
Did you give it to her?
Yeah, I did. I told her it was an actor, and it's normally an actor that just has nothing to give. Actors have a hard time expressing themselves.
Yeah.
But, we were talking about Chris Pratt. I had booked his wife, Anna Faris, to come in here. Chris was and he was just sitting. He wasn't going to talk. And I just pulled him into the conversation. And this was just, he had already had, a giant movie out at the time, and he'd already been a TV star. But those two just talked about, are we wrong to have we have a kid? Is this kid going to hate being on the sets and stuff?
Yeah.
And I'm like, hey man, a fisherman's kid goes out to sea. This is the thing. A kid doesn't know anything's weird until after. And but you could see that they were very responsible in the way of, yeah, I hope we're doing the right thing having a kid now. They were both weird, I don't think either one of them expected that the career would go as high as it did.
Sure.
Where Chris Pratt's one of the biggest movie stars in the world. But if you ever watch him on Instagram and all, it seems like he's with his brothers and his parents and stuff as much as he's doing any premieres.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, he does seem to be like a level, regular guy. Not like Kiefer. Kiefer was one of the first people I saw on TV that a tape went out that wasn't a sex tape, but it was like we're all fucked up tape. And they were taping a party like kids do now with selfies. And it was him and Julia Roberts. And they were had some friends that were in Hawaii, and they were screaming, they were yelling, "We're fucking alcoholics!" We're partying, yeah. And this was like in the 80s, man. This is when like shit like this, like you had to have a big fucking, it was like on Entertainment Tonight. For one of those kind of shows. And they were just like, they were just fucking, that crazy kind of partying that you get into. Because I think he was engaged with Julia Roberts for a while. But this was pre-internet, pre-TMZ, just was on like a regular Entertainment Weekly, like one of those shittiest of the shit shows. Who else? Entertainment Tonight was another one.
Hard copy?
Might have been hard copy. I don't know if you can even find it, Chris.
Just videos of Flatliners keeps coming up. I'll keep looking, though.
Well, it was about the time the Flatliners was done. Jordan in Arizona. What's up, Jordan?
Hey, Bennington. How you doing, guys?
Hey.
I live in Arizona. I was born and raised in South Indiana, right next to Notre Dame's campus. And Vince Vaughn walked into a bar one night, and he was the coolest dude in the world. So nice to everybody, and bought a round of drinks for like our table.
Well, you know what? Vince Vaughn is the opposite of Daddy. He finds the babies out there, the beautiful babies.
Yeah. He loves them.
Yeah. By the way, anyone who's grossed out by a guy being called Daddy, calling a woman baby,
yeah,
that's freakish. I mean, you're not even saying teenager. You're saying baby.
You're a baby.
You're just a baby making baby talk.
You're a baby.
And have you ever been around a couple that does baby talk?
Yeah. Oh,
you
yeah.
want to fucking hang yourself.
I know. I have two different friends who they baby talk with their significant other in public.
In front of
and I'm not going to judge you, but that seems like private stuff that you're doing. It
and
might be very funny.
Yeah,
and
even
cute
then
to
you should see a shrink. But when someone say he likes when I make his nummies, like even if it's not sexual, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? And Reagan used to call his wife mommy in front of everybody.
That's really freaks me out.
Mommy. Mommy's going to take care of me. Yeah, check it out, mommy. That's my Reagan that I do.
That kind of went out of stuff. I feel like people used to call the wife, the mother of the house, mother. That was a thing that happened. Or is that very British?
No, what would happen in America, though?
Like, oh, yes, mother's made dinner, so we're all going home.
Yeah.
It's not your mother.
I would always say to my kids, your mom wants you.
Yeah, that's exactly.
There's no fucking relation to me. It's your mom. Your mom needs you right now. Get it? Yours. I guess, Chris, you never called anybody daddy.
No.
And Vito used to call his daddy, I guess, Frosty. From that story you told the other day?
Yeah.
Melty Frosty.
I don't want to think about that.
Melty Dad.
I guess.
Yeah, when you lose your dad, Chris's dad, obviously a hero.
Yeah.
Another fatality on the war on drugs, war veteran, fighting on the side of drugs. That's not so much dealing, but use.
Yeah.
I mean, he was at the bottom of whatever line that you're showing how the drug got there.
He's a foot soldier.
Yeah, he was the last person it got to.
Infantry.
And his defense feels really good. I mean, you'll never be as relaxed as you are on opiates.
Can't believe it.
That would be the thing I'd like to see him invent in the future. Something that feels even better than opiates. I'll run the fucking world if I can live with that.
No side effects?
I don't care about the side effects.
Okay.
That's something you deal with later.
It feels good now, though, right?
Yes. Now it's perfect. Well, none of us have tomorrow, if you're thinking about it. You are still doing the virtual reality stuff, people. I've been forwarding you virtual porn sites to go to.
Yeah, I'm going to start downloading those and exploring them.
Where were you last night? Serengeti?
Last night I was on a beach in, I believe, I don't even know where it was. It was just some beach, I think in the South Pacific, someone recorded. And I was just fucking looking at what was
sitting
going
there?
on. Yeah. It was
That's when
very
you
peaceful.
Fell asleep with that on your head. He has a Hawaiian shirt he puts on, has a boat drink.
I love it.
By the way, how funny of it was Big J came out with a boat drink.
He did come out with a boat
great.
drink.
It was hilarious.
I couldn't believe it. It's like, what color is that?
A pint of boat drink.
Yeah, it was long. It was a long glass. Long, tall glass, as they'll call it.
He looked refreshed.
He was. Well, he's on top of the world right now. Did you guys get to meet his West Coast management?
No, I didn't.
Mm-hmm. He's out there now, and they're taking him. His West Coast management was so exciting to be in the Big J business.
That's great to hear.
And they actually said to me, "You did a great job with the brand." And I go, "It's not the brand. It's my friend Jay." Yeah, the brand. G Money, they're calling him.
That's his name now?
Yeah, or sometimes J Money, or just Money, and then occasionally Daddy Coins.
I like daddy coins.
DC?
We need some West Coast management. I need somebody sitting around thinking about my West Coast dreams. I need to get some of that California love.
How do
Why
we
do
do
you
that?
sit and ponder? He just sits and it's a fucking radio show. I look over at him. He's just looking at the ceiling.
What are you thinking about?
Daddies.
Oh, God, that's so sick. There is daddy porn is gay, right?
Oh, is it?
Yes. Oh, is it? He says, as if
Yes.
he's not in that virtual reality
Yes,
world
it
yet.
is. And you
Maybe
know
we
that.
got to get Vito off of Snapchat and in the thing. You did an unmasked with me yesterday that everybody seems to be loving.
Yes.
Seemed like you really captured me.
It was a big interview for me. I was really excited about that.
Oh, that's a big get.
Yeah. And you know what? That leads to other gets, It leads probably to Bernie gets by the time you're done.
Yeah, that's the thing that you could say when you're trying to book people on your Snapchat. I've already done an unmasked with Ron Bennington.
Oh, look at that. They said that a lot of people who escaped out of the club ran to the fire station across the street. Why wouldn't you just keep running? I wouldn't be stopping at any fucking point.
Mm-mm.
I'd be fucking running like Forrest Gump.
You'd still be running.
Well, I'd stop by now. I mean, they got the guy.
3 days later.
I mean, at a certain point, I can't run anymore.
Just stop.
You don't understand? I have shin splints.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's the worst feeling in the world, a shin splint. The shin splint is ready to make you just say, take off my leg.
I don't need it then if it's going to feel like this.
Although a mosquito bite now, which now is even scarier than ever.
Oh, yeah.
But a mosquito bite is the most annoying thing that can happen to a human being. And multiples is the worst. Nothing worse than when you've woken up, like you've been camping, and you're like, I have like 200 mosquito bites from last night.
Eaten alive.
Slept through it, I guess. Probably didn't bother me tonight, bother me now.
How do you sleep through that? Like, how does you be able to do that?
Human beings can sleep through almost anything. Look at you. You fell asleep, woke up, and the guy was jacking in your face.
Still not as bad as a bunch of mosquito bites.
And a lot of people would find that more annoying, Chris.
No, he didn't. He didn't come near me, so
As far as you know,
As far as
he
I-
might have been in the second round by the time you woke up.
I I hope not.
He might be trying to rally. Tonight we're heading out to do Comedy 101. We'll get that on the air for you soon. And after that, we're on our way to D.C. to do Ali Wong for an Unmasked. I think it's one of the greatest specials I've ever seen in my life. I rewatched it again last night. Fucking beyond brilliant. She's so great. And then Big Jay Oakerson. It's a salute to Big J all day Friday.
Yes, it's Big J Day.
Big J Day. And we've never done that for anyone else in history, right?
Mm-mm.
Never.
And that shows you the love that we have for him.
I like to see some love for me. I like a salute to Ron Bennington show on one of these fucking best ofs.
It's a great idea.
Who worries about the best ofs? Is that you, Vito?
Yes.
All right. Just pick out stuff with me in it.
Yeah.
I'm on it.
And then you voice over. This is a salute to Ron Bennington. There's some star just came by looking at us.
I didn't see it.
Yeah. Quite a lot of stars came by here today.
I know. Star-studded day.
The funny thing about us, all the people that we mentioned, we could have had on the show today. This is where we've gotten. I don't really want to talk to them.
I don't feel like it.
They might start talking about their movie. What would you have, Chris, rather have?
Okay.
2,000 mosquito bites.
Yeah.
And that would feel good, probably, right? But I'm going to give you the choice. 2,000 mosquito bites. Now, let's say 200. 2,000 is too much, right?
Yeah, 200.
200.
All right, 200 mosquito bites.
Or 200 bear bites. Which would you rather have?
I'm going to think this over.
Not me, bear bites right away. I'd rather just be eaten by a bear.
Here's the thing. Bear bites aren't as itchy. You're not going to have an itch problem in the aftermath.
Bigger, though. They're much bigger.
All right. Boomer's mom said, first thing Ron was ever wrong about, not everyone loves Jeff Goldblum. And then she has hashtag not me, hashtag yuck, hashtag gross.
Yuck.
Jeez.
Hashtag I hate what's his name? I mean, just hate on the Jeff Goldblum.
There's always one. I, for one, love the man.
Randy says this, you should do a GPS for Akron and Cleveland, Raspberries, 9 Inch Nails, Black Keys, Devo, Pretenders. David Allan Coe is from Cleveland? I always thought that he was like way southern. Yeah, that is cool, although I would never say it's been a scene.
Yeah, that's hard because...
But it's the music from one town.
Yeah, we have a lot of those where there's a lot of great music from that place. This is specific to a place and time.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean that we just can't do a place.
Yeah, we could.
The time would just be longer.
Yeah.
It'd be 38 years.
The time is all of history.
Who else is from Cleveland? Who did the song Ah Leah? Was that guy from Cleveland?
We'll find out.
Yeah. Go ahead and tap away. You got my permission.
Right,
tap
good.
away with big hand fingers.
All right.
Donnie Iris. I just thought of it. Where's he from?
He is from PA.
But Western PA, right?
Newcastle, Pennsylvania?
I don't know.
Elwood City?
I don't know it. So it must be closer to Pittsburgh.
Northern PA.
The same thing. Northern is Western. Same fucking thing. Look at that. That's way up on the border.
He's a border town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's you. By the time you're out of that, you're off the mat. You're in shitty upstate New York. Isn't it funny? You can be downstate there in New York, and you're still upstate New York because they're really across state.
Overstate, I call them.
I don't. I say upstate. I say get back upstate. All right, I'm gonna wrap this one up today. See you guys tonight. 8:00 is the show.
8 p.m.
I'm gonna try to get a little nap first.
Yeah, why not?
I haven't felt like I've even quite woke up yet today. Join everybody tomorrow. Let's just get silly and have fun tomorrow. Get all the kids in. We never got any of the kids on the air today.
Yeah.
So we'll look for a little more coach. Hopefully we'll be at the time that Spencer Berger is ready to pop in. Does he feel like he's more and more comfortable? Or he's not ready yet? But It's coming soon.
Yeah, he said he's starting to a little.
All right.
I like the sound of that.
And how's he doing off the air?
Fantastic.
Okay.
I like it.
Spencer Berger.
How's Coach doing off the air? Coach realizes that tonight is a big night for her, right?
Yeah, she's been just doing push-ups and just getting ready for this.
Yeah, she's not fighting anyone.
Help.
She's producing
Did you
a
make her
show.
think that she had to fight?
Yeah.
She told me she just really wanted to do some push-ups to get amped up.
Let's stop the push-ups. That's a little too physical for what
It's
we're
not going to
after.
help anything.
Yeah. All right, that's it. See everybody back in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!